can.
I just, I don't know how people can handle more than one gacha, man. My wallet can't afford that.
You know who deserves a shout out for this? CZ. Seriously, the dude plays a lot of gacha games, doesn't spend. Again, like,
gotcha.
TZ is like how I found your community and pretty much all of you. Dude's done good.
I was just new to the FTO, and I was trying to figure out how to farm or do like a Nero Fest, and that's how I got the cat.
I was new to FGO and I started watching. I saw the dogs.
Come for FTO, stay for the doggos.
Bork bork. Freaking cat, that title.
Cat already move up?
Artistically banned. Hey, still here.
It feels weird playing in my room.
Why are we whispering?
Late, so
Also, why am I hearing beeping when he talks?
Beep.
Arova.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? Da 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 da. Also, chat, you guys didn't even get to see me do JP yesterday. I did it after stream. I straight up finished and was like, "Oh wait, did I actually do JP on stream yesterday?" And I was like, "I didn't." Hello, Sarth. Hello, Snooze. Hello, Arzus. How's it going? I don't know how many of you guys saw, but the nude apocalypse happened yesterday, and man, a lot of people got banned for it. Do, 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 do. Give me un segundo, por favor, señores and señoritas in chat. In el chato. Chat, how do you say chat in Spanish? All right, the tweet is live. Do me a favor and go give it some love. Oh, no ad banners? Yes, ad banners. Hello, everybody. Here is your artwork. Go give the artist some love while you're giving the tweet some love. That is a pendejo? I see. Google says Charlar. Ah, I see. So it's like a Charizard. Oh, apparently I have to actually spend my AP down. So that's a thing. Okay, so what was I doing? Let's turn you on and turn you on. Then we should be good. I was spared, yes. Hello, Hardus. I like today's art. I do too. That's why I chose it. Bob sent me some art that I might be able to use in the future. So, like I said at the beginning of stream there, we definitely had some interesting stuff develop on Twitch today. For those of you guys that hadn't seen, Twitch, again, decided to relax their sexual content policy, and as a result, they allowed for artistic nudity on Twitch. They also sort of undid a bunch of the stuff with, like, hey, you can now twerk on stream and stuff like that, which I do think is honestly fine in actual reality. I just, you guys know, we went over the guidelines and their updates, and I kind of called everything that happened. And I basically said, like, Twitch is gonna get in trouble, and this is gonna end up having to get dealt with. I already think that is the case, and I already think we see the evidence of it, because what ended up happening is, like I called, a bunch of people read that TLDR of the content guidelines and said, oh man, I can stream nude on Twitch. So that was a lie, and all of them ended up getting banned. Twitch had, I think, the most banned partners that I've seen in a long time today. I follow the streamer bans account. It was rattling like all day. Basically just, oh, this person got banned, this person got banned, this person got banned. So kind of just crazy how much of it happened. Oh, sorry, Andres, I didn't see what the message was. Relax, yes. Nude VTuber models, yeah, so like, it was just freaking wild. And I think you really got to see just how many Coomers are out there, even amongst like actual content creators, because a bunch of the other content creators were streaming, like restreaming the other content creators that were doing it, thinking somehow that would indemnify them, which it wouldn't. But basically, the reason that I say that this is going to have ended up causing problems is because we're not entirely sure that all the people that got banned got legitimately banned. Apparently, there were people that were botting and going around, and a bunch of them were following a channel and then reporting the channel. So the rumor is that I guess a bunch of them got basically hate raided and sort of brigaded into getting mass reported. And so as a result, apparently people think that some of the bans are illegitimate. I'm not so sure. We'll see. I'm sure Twitch will end up having to make a statement eventually, because again, there's too many of them that got banned over this. So they're gonna have to like address it. But I'm gonna say this, the whole reason that I actually do doubt the whole like brigading like possibility is because that has been possible for years. Hate raids were a thing. We didn't really get streamers banned because of the hate raids. Like, if this were actually possible to like mass report a streamer and just get them automatically taken down by an automated system, you would see this happening all the time. You would basically see every streamer that people didn't like that was of any prominence getting constantly reported and taken down. So I'm not entirely sure that that's a thing. I did see that. So, like I said, so part of the reason that I think that there's some miscommunication is that I suspect that some of the streamers probably didn't have the correct content label. And what I mean, chat, when I say content label, you see the tags beneath the stream? Not those. Those aren't content labels. Content labels are something we have to do in the dashboard. You can't tell that there's a content label. the whole point to it is, if you say set a like sexual theme or something as one of your labels, that then means that anyone that hasn't previously said yes, it's okay to see that stuff, will get re-prompted and have to say yes. So the whole point to that is it's meant to be an opt-in type thing that is a like one-off that the viewer must like agree to. They must say yes before they can view your stream. I'm not entirely certain that these people actually did their due diligence and did everything they were supposed to. What I did hear is that apparently some of the people were basically doing, you know, full-blown nude VTuber stuff, and those bans are probably 100% legit. So that is to say they weren't drawing art, they were just straight up showcasing themselves naked. Those bans are legit, guarantee it, and here's why. They apparently, and I didn't read this for you guys yesterday because I read you guys the TLDR. Apparently the actual like write-up of here's our content policy, they explicitly have a blurb denoting VTubers and saying you are not exempt from this. VTubers must abide by the same rules as any other normal flesh and blood content creator. So they apparently knew this was gonna be a thing and put a line in there saying you can't do that. Just because you think you're fictitious, you're not. So I guess the VTubers didn't look into that, went ahead and did it, and then now they're all crying foul that they got banned. But like I said, I'm not gonna say that like it certainly might be possible that brigading happened. It certainly might be possible that the bans are not legitimate, but oh, I have fruit. Interesting. I don't know how I got 3 golden fruit. It must have been the like login or something like the whatchamacallit. Advent calendar. There we go. God, yeah, I could not think of it. But like, so that's where I'm gonna say, like, it's certainly possible what they're claiming. I just doubt that it actually is the case. And we'll see, because I think there's so many of them banned at this point, Twitch is going to have to make a statement in the next 24 hours. So last I checked, they hadn't made one. I will take a look here and see. And actually, let's see, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. 38 partners were banned today. And that's just the partners, chat. So, remember, that website only is going to denote partners. It's not going to denote affiliates that got banned. So, I guarantee you for however many partners got banned, there's probably 5 times the number of affiliates. So, like I said, Twitch is going to have to make a statement because they've got people, like, absolutely fuming at this point. But, like I said, we'll either find out whether or not the bans were legitimate. I heard apparently one of them did get reversed, so I don't know if it was like a false positive type situation, but we'll see, right? But yeah, apparently now the Twitch TOS is trending on Twitter because everybody is going like, what the heck? I don't know how to handle anything. Now, what I will say is I have seen basically people saying that they think that these changes are good for Twitch. And I want to be clear on this. I do think some of the changes are good for Twitch. I think allowing nudity in the art directory, I think that's fine. Because this has actually been an issue for years. A a lot of streamers have had to come up with like creative ways of just like trying to get around it. They've like been like, oh, okay, I'm gonna draw the body, but like cover up the breasts and the like pelvic area and stuff like that. And then like that part will just be invisible to Twitch, but like it's still there on their canvas. They're still drawing it. I've also seen people be like, all right, I'm just gonna zoom in on this part. I'm not gonna color this part. I'm gonna like leave the details of these regions until after stream. So it hasn't stopped anyone basically from drawing pretty much nudity. It's just been this stupid game of cat and mouse for years in the art directory, and where they've tried to enforce it, they often get it wrong. Like you'll literally see someone with like an exposed thigh getting reported and getting a ban because it's too like sexual or revealing. And so, and then like the reverse, you'll have someone that basically is just covering up the nipples or didn't draw nipples on breasts, not getting banned. And then again, then like the next day it'll completely reverse and that person will get the ban and the other person wouldn't get the ban. So it's just very arbitrary, very difficult to discern what it is that the devs are actually doing. Or sorry, not the devs, the mods. And so that's kind of the issue that everyone's had in the art directory. So I think because the artists had so many ways of getting around it, there was no point to actually trying to enforce it in the art directory. Do I think that we should allow nudity on Twitch, though? Like, actual person nudity for, like, breast milking, for body writing, for pole dancing? No! Who the fuck thinks that's okay? Like, anyone that says that, anyone that wants that is a coomer. Straight up, okay? And I'm going to say this flat out. People are sitting here trying to say like, oh, you know, it's okay because Twitch has always had issues. Twitch has always had bad shit on it. That doesn't mean you embrace it. That doesn't mean you say, you know what, you're right. Twitch has always had dumb shit that has happened on it. I know, let's make it worse. No. Again, I think there is a place for these things. I'm not going to say that someone that wants to like run around naked and film it and project it to you know, viewers. There are plenty of places you can do that. Called Patreon, OnlyFans, Pornhub, you name it, right? Like, I don't care. There are places for that. Those places are not Twitch, in my opinion, okay? Now, let me say this. If you want to allow it on Twitch, I actually still don't have that big of a deal with it. You can allow it. I'm not going to get upset about it. What I will say, though, and this is, again, where I think Twitch will have this problem, and what I've seen big content creators that have already weighed in on this just willfully, stupidly ignorant of, is 100% the fact that there is absolutely no verification process to signing up on Twitch. There is nowhere that you ever have to tell them your age. There is nothing that the streamer has to do to ever set their age. There is nothing that we have to do to be able to stream to an NSFW type of category. So I don't understand why people think that's okay, because it's pretty obvious that you can get underage people in on that content. And then people are going to be like, well, yeah, do you remember what you did as a kid? Yes, I do. I also remember that, like, things were difficult and you had to usually jump through hoops if you wanted to do something illegal like that. And I'm going to say you can't prevent everything, but you certainly don't need to make it easy. You certainly don't need to, like, just throw all attempts at trying to stop people from seeing this out the window and say, you know what, who cares? It's basically just saying like, oh yeah, everything is just degrading and, you know, becoming shit at this point, so let's just embrace it, right? Cat actually 40? I'm not 40. But so the whole point that I'm trying to make here is that, like, I don't care if they want to allow NSFW content. I've even said before, is like, chat, you guys know there's like porn games and stuff out there. I'm like, I don't care if someone wants to stream one of those. Like, as long as it's like appropriately categorized and like young people that are underage can't see it, I don't care. I think that's perfectly fine, right? And I think that's where like some of the hypocrisy comes in. I'm a very much live and let live type of guy, but it's like, it's very easy to just straight up like add some level of like security and permissions to the website. The fact that we have none is like astounding to me at this point. Like, chat, there are literally, like, if you go on YouTube, if you go on a lot of other websites or even on your TV, there are like child lock type of permissions and stuff that you can set. It's very easy for parents to actually patrol most of this stuff. Could they patrol their kid on Twitch though? No. I'm gonna probably end up having to tell my sister to get my nephews off of Twitch at this point, because they're absolutely going to see things that they shouldn't. And let me be clear here. My nephews are underage. They shouldn't be on Twitch. Because remember, Twitch's official content policy is that no one under 13 can use Twitch. Do you really think that people don't? Are you really that stupid and naive that you think that that doesn't happen? Like, I'm sorry. Like I said, it's like you have to actually be dumb to think that that doesn't happen. You have to actually be dumb to think that this isn't going to impact kids. And I've seen people say like, oh, you know, gambling is so bad, we can't allow it, but hey, let's allow like nudity and stuff on the platform. And I've literally today seen people argue against like gambling, but then say that like, oh, porn's fine. Like, gambling absolutely corrupts you and it can ruin your life, but porn is fine. Are you that stupid is again the question I have to ask. Do you actually think that porn can't destroy people's lives? Do you not think that porn is an addiction and that it can absolutely fuck someone up and make it so that they are just a absolutely like no life sitting there in their room cooming all the time? It's almost like we have an actual term for it because it is a thing. Like, again, I'm gonna say at the end of the day, sure, we can try to compare those two extremely like bad habits and try to say that one is worse than the other. They're both bad. You don't want to allow or really incentivize either, especially in a young, impressionable, like, population. 100%, you should just actually say, hey, look, you know what? If we're going to allow this, either NSFW content needs to go to, like, hold on. Either NSFW content needs to go to, like, its own section of the website. So, like, chat, let's say here's gaming content. Here's gaming. Here's just chatting, okay? You know what? Give it its own directory. Just call it NSFW. And tell you what, you have to, like, age verify or something to get in. That's it. That's it. I'm perfectly fine with it as long as you do that. Like, I don't care what people want to do. I don't care that it would be allowed on this platform. I only care to the extent that it's like, why is there like no protection against it? This website literally just has, are you of age? Click yes. It is the weakest form of protection to the point that it may as well not exist. It exists only for legal deniability of Amazon and Twitch. That's it. That's all that it is there for. It's not actually meant to in any way, shape, or form get in your way. So it's like, that's my only issue with all of this. It's just that if Twitch is going to allow this, it just needs to do better by it. It just needs to up the sort of protections. It needs to basically handle it better than it is. Coming out of nowhere and dropping this bomb and being like, and you get titties, and you get caca, and everybody gets everything is like not the way you should handle that. The slightest. Just wanted to ask you if you know we'll get the Melson better. That's on the 17th. Can't believe Twitch is almost 20 years old and is still in the beta testing phase. Feels like it. Twitch VTubers deserve what's coming to them. Whoa, hey, you're talking to someone that's going to become a Twitch VTuber. But yeah, no, like I said, I think at the end of the day, all this is revealed is it's made it 100% way more obvious as to like who the Coomers are, who the people that are literally just chasing after money and clout are, versus like the people that are like, hey, I'm just a streamer, I'm just trying to have fun, I'm just trying to like, you know, stream my favorite game or something like that, or have a like enlightening conversation with my chat, versus the people that are like, yo, give me your money now, I'll do anything for your money. Literally modern day prostitutes. Like, I can't wait for the NA New Year's servant. Well, you think we're gonna have a different one, or you're saying like you can't wait for the one that's about to come out because you know who it is, even though we're not supposed to know. In-game sex is still banned, right? Actually, in-game sex has never been banned. Fun fact. So, depends on the context. To explain, if you are playing Grand Theft Auto and you go, damn, that a mighty fine pixelated hooker over there, I want her to twerk on my junk and then I want to bone her in the back of my car, that is 100% illegal and cannot be streamed on Twitch. If, however, you are playing The Witcher and in the middle of the story, Geralt and Yennefer get on the back of a unicorn and shag, that's A-okay. You know what the difference is? This one's forced on you by the game. It's just part of the normal, like, thing in the game. Versus the other one you had to actually seek out and focus on. So, like, it was a player choice to basically go down and get dirty. So, like, and I explained this before, Conan Exiles is a game you guys may have seen me stream before in the past. There's nudity in it. If you die, you start back at a spawn point completely naked. That's allowable on Twitch. What you can't do is continue to just keep running around naked eternally and like just zoom right in on the titties or the, you know, full exposed frontal nudity basically, and just leave that on your stream and like never do anything else. So it's like, it's basically the intent. As long as it's just a normal part of the game, it's allowed. What you're not allowed to do, though, is stream actual, like, sexual games. So, like, this would be, like, any number of, like, actual porn games. You just can't stream them. You also can't stream any game that has a, like... Well, sorry. You can't stream any game that you've modified to have nudity in it. So, like, the example of this would be, I know in, like, Final Fantasy XIV, apparently there's, like, visual mods that people download that like can make everyone naked in the game. Like, you wouldn't be able to stream that. You can stream Final Fantasy XIV, but you just can't stream it with that. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 would be fine. The fact that there is a sex scene in Baldur's Gate 3 as part of a like cutscene, you're okay. If you actively sit there though and just try to like probably doing a sex any % run on Twitch would probably be very precarious. I would maybe just make sure you don't call it that, and then no one will think anything else of it. But what's the best place to farm bond experience? I've heard LB6 Oxford is the best. Right now, the Lotto node that only costs box currency because it doesn't cost you any of your AP. But outside of that, I don't know. It's usually just the most recent like story chapter typically has the best bond. Maribest, thank you for the follow. Welcome. And yeah, sorry for the rant there, guys. I just like that was something where it's like it's astounding to me to watch people like sit here and try to defend what Twitch has done and be like, I for one am all for it. It's like, no, you're not. You're just a Coomer. Like that's the only reason you're for it. You just want to see a pair. It has nothing to do with like you trying to take any sort of moral high ground. There is no moral high ground. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild had sex with Papaya and didn't get into trouble. Wait, what? No, it didn't. I assume that's a meme since you put Kappa, but... Sex Scene, Fate Stay Night, light novel game. Okay, that's a better one. I don't know. Because I think the intent would be if you stream the sex scene from the Fate VN, you could get in trouble. Here's why. There is a version of the game that doesn't have it. That is an official version. So basically, the player has a choice. If you choose to instead reveal the cutscenes that have sex in them and nudity, you would get in trouble on Twitch. Could you get away with it? Maybe. Maybe. But you would probably get in trouble. CQ time? We'll see. At minimum, I'll do the CQ tomorrow if I don't get to it tonight. But there were more censored than uncensored playable versions, yeah. It was a speedrun category. I'm just confused as to like what that category entailed. No, I want to play The Witcher again. You just want to see the unicorn scene with Yennefer? Considering you have to pirate any version of Fate Stay Night, it seems done. Yeah, that's also another interesting one, right? Like, so, and this is where I'd say it's okay from the simple standpoint of, if you guys have ever looked into, like, any sort of discussions about piracy, you'll often see most of the pro-piracy arguments are usually that piracy is some kind of crime of convenience some kind of crime of convenience or necessity, rather than a crime of like malice or something like that, right? So that is to say, someone's not stealing it just because they want it for free. A lot of the time, people are stealing it because they can't get access to it normally. So that would be the classic example for the Fate VN. You can't get an officially localized version of Fate Stay Night. Therefore, you are 100% morally okay to pirate it. And that's kind of the issue. Even if you wanted to, you basically can't gain access to it because it doesn't exist. You could argue that the true moral thing to do would be to pirate it, but then still buy an official copy. But even then, there's region locks and other things that may get in your way. You may not actually be able to gainfully get it. So piracy becomes a little bit more of a like requirement in regions where something hasn't been localized. Doubly so when it absolutely has been banned from being sold in a region. We do have that occasionally in certain instances, but it's not super common. I have not seen plenty of people stream it, Phoenix. I've seen one person. I've seen one person do it, and I have seen that he manually censored it. Preservation of the game is what I'm seeing most of the time. Yeah, that too. We live in a digital age where there's so much DRM that, like, you don't ever actually own anything. And so a lot of people have taken to, like, basically ripping and, like, kind of making ISOs of files so that they actually have, like, the game long after it's been removed. So he stayed in a room. I figured it was something like that. Same case for Sonic Heroes. When I looked it up, I don't even want to call it piracy at that point. Right, and that's the thing. It's like, it technically is, but it's very difficult to say, like, oh, you can't get it in that regard. And if you ever want to see a really interesting conversation of it, go look up Gabe Newell's thoughts on piracy. And that will give you everything you need to know. Who is Gabe Newell, chat? He's also known as Gaben. He is the creator of Steam and owner of it. So Gabe Newell has basically come out and said, like, yeah, piracy happens usually because of rights issues. Usually because of some sort of issue within the marketplace. It's not because, like, I'm not going to say there aren't people out there that just steal something because they want it for free. There are, absolutely. But, like, usually that is the small portion of the people pirating stuff. The rampant piracy usually comes from people that couldn't otherwise access it. And so that's where like Gaben's entire approach to like having DRM and stuff on games, basically anti-piracy protection, is that you usually don't need it, because the people that were getting it, the people that were actually trying to pirate your game, weren't going to pay for your game anyways. And so if you end up putting DRM on your game and all it does is like hurt the game's performance, it's not a good thing. It actually ends up like just harming your overall product and making people hate it. Piracy went down when Netflix had everything. Now piracy is bigger than ever. Oh yeah, 100%. And a lot of that just has to do with the fact that like basically people don't want to pay for a bunch of different products. I actually saw an interesting video on it earlier this week where someone was basically talking about that the concept of piracy from the standpoint that if you can pirate something and your experience is better than having paid for it, that kind of legitimizes the piracy. What that meant was that like whatever service you were paying for, whatever product you received, if it was somehow less than you would have gotten from having pirated it, it basically meant there was no value in having paid for it. That is to say, somebody ripped the game, the movie, the show out of somewhere and offered it to you. If it was a higher quality, gotten to you faster, or again, basically without DRM and actually like played better, that meant that you kind of were legitimized in how you had chosen to pirate it. Because essentially, by pirating things, you basically found a like community that was more of a partner to you and wanted to help facilitate your enjoyment of the product, compared to buying it from the corporation that was antagonistic towards you and trying to find ways to basically like make your experience worse. And so that's kind of the issue that you have, is once we have all these streaming services, they're all very much clutching their pearls, and you basically, in order to like watch two different shows, must pay for two different services, rather than before you could have just paid for one service and watched both of them. And I'm gonna say this, I still don't like the whole concept of like just pirating something just to pirate it. I think in that regard, piracy should not be a thing. But I completely understand the logic that is people feel obligated to pirate things nowadays when their experiences using the actual payment services are so bad. And I don't blame them. Anime has that problem a lot too. Oh yes, anime is 100% one of those like products that like are really just largely pirated due to how things are being handled. Like if you guys remember, I paid for Crunchyroll back when Crunchyroll had all of the Funimation anime, because basically in any given season, Crunchyroll used to have like 70 to 80% of all the anime. And then the other 20% I could go find via piracy if I had to. Nowadays, basically what ends up happening is you have Crunchyroll split off from Funimation. I haven't seen whether or not they're going to start having the Funimation stuff back now. But basically, it ended up to the point where Crunchyroll then at a certain point had like 20 to 25% of all the anime available in a season. They ended up with very little. And so there was no point to paying for Crunchyroll anymore. At that point, it just became, well, I guess I have to go to all these various different sites. At that point, I may as well pirate it, because pirating it puts it all on one site. All convenient and easy for me to catalog and watch. Which is wild. So it kind of proves that I'm not opposed to paying for a service. I just hate how inconvenient it is. And I think that kind of goes to show you the problem that we have. And a lot of that's just a rights issue. It's a royalty issue. It's everybody wants their cut. Everybody wants their piece of the pie. Cad Crunchy and Funimation are back together. So are they actually all on the same site now? Ended up killing the dub for Legends of Galactic Heroes Die. And I'm still sad about it, yeah. So many older shows just forgotten. What do you think, the TV box is somewhat making a comeback? Yep. Yep. People don't want to have to deal with all this shit of having 20 different logins, 20 different services they have to pay for very little value. Chat, let me ask you this. At $15 a pop, do you feel like Netflix is worth it? No. Why? Only for short stints so I can binge? So, if I were to put words in your mouth here, would you say then that that's because there's not enough content being produced on Netflix? Or is it maybe a factor of the content that is getting produced you don't find interesting or entertaining? That is to say, Netflix is making content that you don't care about, that maybe you don't think, I don't know, like maybe the majority of people care about. Netflix doesn't have enough content anymore? Yeah, I mean, like, I still have my Netflix subscription because I do watch Netflix at least semi-regularly. But usually I have to go, like, find something to watch. So, for instance, and actually, I'm going to end up giving Netflix a big shout-out right here. Netflix just came out with the Yu Yu Hakusho fucking live action. So if you're interested to watch that, you're going to go watch it, right? But then the problem is, let's say you like the Yu Yu Hakusho live action. What else do you have? Well, there are other anime live actions they've done, like Rurouni Kenshin, Death Note, and all that. But like, maybe you like some of those and not all. But maybe you don't really necessarily feel the need to go back and rewatch them because you've already watched them. So the question then becomes, maybe you got your $15 worth in the month that you watched something, but then the amount of time it takes them to get to the next thing, let's say, actually, hold on here. So, okay, so chat, the One Piece live action was their prior anime live action. That was released on August 31st. Okay? You just got Yu Yu Hakusho on December 14th. So, basically in that time, we can say that September, October, and November had nothing. You had 3 months where you paid $45 and did not receive anything of value, if that's all you care about. That's the issue I think people have with this. If shows were pay-per-view, if you got to say, hey, you know what? That looks interesting. Why don't I pay to view that? I think Netflix would make way more money. Here's why. What you do, you still offer the subscription plan, the $15 a month type crap, right? You still offer subscription so that somebody that wants broader access or is somewhat of a cinephile and likes to watch a ton of stuff can do that and get their value. Or you can have free access to Netflix and basically either watch ads or go the pay-per-view model otherwise, where you can pay, have access to it on a more permanent basis, and also at that point not have to have ads. I think they would make way more money this way, with a free / pay-per-view model and a subscription model side by side. Because I think the whole reason everybody cancels their Netflix membership is they go, shit, it ain't worth this $15. There's nothing out here I care about. The lady and I love Netflix. It's super convenient. Yeah. Sorry, Cad, $15 with ads, take it or leave it. Yeah, that's right. Like, but that's the whole point. I think Netflix keeps making less and less because less and less people have Netflix. And they think they need to increase their price because they keep trying to increase how many shows they're making. When the reality is that they just keep cracking down and they just keep producing less stuff that's actually of value. They keep producing very, very niche shows and documentaries that, like, as a result, people naturally, like, unless you're right in that, like, interest category, you just do not care about. Am I the only one who's tired of constant advertising? Yes, and that's why piracy is a thing. Like, again, this video that I watched, Chad, made this point. If you're a good guy and you're watching on YouTube, YouTube will tell you, like let's say you have an ad blocker and you whitelist YouTube because you're a good guy and you wanna help out, like, the content creator. You wanna, like, basically you know, help out YouTube in that regard. So you whitelist it. YouTube will scream at you to not use an ad blocker because it detects the ad blocker. It'll say, hey, don't use an ad blocker even though you whitelisted them. You know who doesn't get the pop-up? The guy who keeps ad blocking them. You get no pop-up. So you're only penalized if you do be a nice guy and unblock them. If you keep blocking them, they don't bother you. It's fucking wild. Your experience by denying them that is better than your experience if you actually tried to do the right thing, right? What they really want is premium subscriptions, yeah. Guy, what are your thoughts on the new Twitch QS? I actually talked about it earlier. I think it's stupid. Like I don't actually have a huge issue with it. I just think that Twitch needs more protections, like especially for underage people. Kat, how do you feel about people pirating and emulating obsolete games and consoles that are no longer supported? 100% A-okay with it. 100%. Again, it's the same issue of convenience. Like, if everything has gone to a digital store and everything is like this bullshit, like, hey, you have to wait until we remaster it for our new console, yada yada yada, and otherwise you just don't have access to it, it is a vaporwared product or game, I think you're 100% okay to pirate. What would be the best mats for a Lotto be for you on JP? I mean, that changes constantly. It's always going to be whatever materials I need the most, and it's usually the newest of whatever material came out, which is usually the ones that will not appear in a Lotto. Yeah, do you guys like my comp here? They get a huge market share because they originally had everything. Oh, no. Listen. I'm not going to say that Netflix hasn't dug their own grave, right? Like, they've 100% made bad decisions. The issue to me, though, is that, like, I think to myself, okay, chat, I want to watch Game of Thrones. So I need to subscribe to HBO. No! Why would I pay for an entire fucking service for one show? That's exactly my entire point on the whole pay-per-view model. They would actually see, rather than get $0, they could at least get some money by switching it to a more sort of a la carte method where you say, you know what, I'm interested in that. Let me pay you for that. Instead of paying you $15, let me pay you like $1, $2, right? I don't know, maybe it's like $1 to rent for like over a month or something like that. But then, like, if you want to actually own it, maybe it's like $5. I think that'd be fine. I think a lot more people would pay for it. It's the subscriptions that keep you like tethered at the hip, that are just 100% designed to increase revenue permanently, to absolutely just make it so that you can never uncouple from them. That's the issue. Why farming this and not converging? What do you mean converging? Oh, you mean converting to QP? Oh, I absolutely don't need QP. It's not even that I need ice more than QP, because that implies that I need ice really bad, and I don't. This is just straight up that, like, I don't need QP. At all. HBO is even removing their own shows. Yeah. It's digital, you never own anything digital. Oh no, you can own something digital. You just have to actually have the copy. You have to actually have the digital file. If you don't have the digital file, you don't own it. Dad, you know corporations want all the money, they cannot go for a sum of money. Yeah, I know. Well, so like, chat, here's another interesting idea. Steam is an absolutely great platform that has like player rights in mind, right? Steam is excellent. Do you want to know what the biggest wake-up call for like piracy and digital rights and ownership is going to be? The day that Steam finally ends up like not being that way. The day that Steam says, hey, we have to delist this stuff, you can't get access to it anymore. Hey, remember those games you bought? Yeah, you no longer own them. The second that happens, oh my god, the world of gaming is gonna implode. Like, actually just like go to shit. Because Steam has been around, I want you guys to think about this, chat. Steam has been around longer than the entire current generation of consoles. Longer than the prior generation of consoles. Longer than the generation of console before even that. That's how long Steam has been around. So, basically, Steam has been a constant in a, I'd say, market of ever-changing, like, technology and products. So the second Steam becomes not a constant, not a pillar of video gaming, oh man, it is going to implode. And it will probably happen. Not anytime soon, chat. It'll just probably happen, like, I don't know, like years down the line when like Gaben decides to retire and passes it on, and then like some new CEO decides to fuck everything up in the name of corporate greed. That's where it'll happen. And then all those games that you own, you won't own. And that's going to be a problem. Like, cable bill went up for a channel I'm not using? Yeah. You don't own it even when you buy it, though. I know. Yeah, as long as you don't have a physical file of your own, like chat, let's say you have an online account. So like, for instance, I think on YouTube I have the Robin Hood Men in Tights movie, but I don't have the file for it. It is stored in my account. If anything ever happens to YouTube, I don't own it. That's the problem. So it's like, until I have the actual physical file that I can take to another device, that I can convert into another file type, that I can basically restore and keep for myself, I don't have it. I don't actually own it. I'm basically borrowing it. If buying isn't owning, piracy isn't stealing. Yes, exactly. Can't you load Steam games separate from Steam if you're offline? You can basically load a game that you don't have on Steam to Steam. You can also make a game playable in offline mode, but it must still be played through the Steam client. So if anything happens to the Steam client, it's because you usually own a license to access something, not the thing itself. Yes. And this is where the value of the license should be far less than the value of the file. right? And this is, if you guys want to protect yourself, insulate yourself from this, you want to know what the best thing you can do is? Buy physical copies. Like, actually. Like, I'm well aware of, like, my entire Steam library may one day be defunct. And that's a terrifying thought. But, like, yeah, I still have a ton of old, like, vintage retro games over there that, like, you know, again, like, I have the actual physical copy. So, like, no matter what ends up happening, I could still play them if I had to. First time seeing a banner ad? Can't all ads be like that on Twitch? Yeah, right? Interesting, that's the first time I've heard someone say it. Physical copies often don't even have the game on the disc or needs an online connection to validate your copy. Nowadays, yes. Back in the day, I mean, they still definitely had it on the disc and you could rip it off, but the problem that we live in is in a world of like always online connections and like patches for games. Like, yeah, you may never own the actual game. That's why, like, if you ever see like piracy sites, I think they'll have like cracks of games and stuff like that. And there'll be a crack of like a patch because it'll be like the last stable patch that they were able to crack. It may not even be the most current patch for the game. So chat, this is a two button press call. Bypass the Steam client for certain games. Oh yeah, and I want to be clear here, chat. I'm also not telling you to like just go out and pirate everything. I'm just saying like these are concerns that will have to get tackled like in society pretty soon, especially in gaming. We've actually seen a lot of this. There's a, and I haven't heard where this has gone, but with regards to like Apple products. There's a big concept from back in the day with any sort of like old technology that says it's what's called the right to repair. You have the right to repair your own device. This is like someone working on their car, someone working on their VCR, you name it, right? Like you have the right, if you have the technology, the technological know-how to be able to repair it yourself. Apple, though, does not want to allow you to do that. They force you to bring it into the store. They make their cases in such a way that unless you have their own proprietary tool, you cannot disassemble them. And it's all done to try to force you to basically utilize their services. It is monopolistic by nature. So that's apparently one of the things that I think it's, is it Steve Wozniak? The guy that was under Steve Jobs is apparently, he's kind of out of Apple now at this point. And he's now actually, I believe, fighting Apple on this very topic. That when they first invented Apple, when they were first in the room together coming up with it, that was one of the concepts that they had put into play. But modern corporate Apple does not want to allow you to do that. The Last of Us Online has just been canceled by Naughty Dog. I mean, I had heard that there was already rumblings that it was getting canceled, which, like, I didn't care about it in the slightest. I'm not sure anyone did. But I think this is all pretty obvious that what's actually going on behind the scenes at Naughty Dog is I think they figured that there wasn't actually enough demand because The Last of Us 2 actually I don't think is done nearly as well. So The Last of Us 1, if you guys don't know, was played for years and years and years after its release. It was a, you know, like cult favorite. It was really well done by a lot of people's opinion. People went back and played through it over and over and over again on the harder difficulty settings. Apparently The Last of Us 2, even though it has all those same bells and whistles, people are just not playing it nearly as much because it was such a controversial game. And so I think what's happening is they've seen the writing on the wall, and the fact that, like, if they try to do a Last of Us Online, there's just not going to be that much actual, like, interest in it. And they're probably just pulling the devs off to work on The Last of Us 3, which we already know that they're doing. They are making The Last of Us 3. So I suspect that's all that's actually happening behind the scenes. They just said, this project isn't really worth the amount of, like, devs we would have to invest in it to make it good. And they're probably just focusing on their next game at this point. They already did that with the one game. The dev can't update it anymore. You can play it, though? Wait, what do you mean? The dev can't update it, but you can play it. Because I know, like, Steam delists games, but I don't know about, like, it's still able to be played type deal. Last of Us 3 will be complete shit. I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll write it better. I think their biggest issue with The Last of Us 2 is that they wanted to tell an avant-garde story. If the theme of The Last of Us 1 was about hope and, like, redemption, the theme of The Last of Us 2 was about, like, darkness and revenge. And so, like, I think that was kind of the issue that people had with it. It just had a totally different feel than the first game. And the biggest problem that a lot of people felt like is they felt like it was a very forced narrative that had an agenda and basically, like, it killed off their favorite character. And I think that was the problem that they had it with, is that the nature in which the character was killed was very uncharacteristic. It's pretty close and equivalent to, like, how the second Star Wars sequel was, where it's like Luke Skywalker goes and huddles on a, like, you know, far off planet, basically sulking, and doesn't go to help or save his friends. And it's like, that's completely uncharacteristic of literally Luke Skywalker and his entire character motif throughout the original trilogy. So a lot of it in those cases, it just feels like it's trying to like basically offset your expectations. It's trying to, like, whatever you expected to happen, it's going to make sure that that specifically does not happen. That sort of stuff. And I think that's kind of the problem. You don't really want to do that as a writer if you can. It doesn't mean you have to do everything that your fans expect, but it does mean that, like, you don't want to basically shit on your fans' expectations. You want to at least humor them some. Problem is that the theme revenge equal bad is not as deep as they want it to make out to be. Yeah, like, chat, I never played The Last of Us 2, so there would be some people out there that would say, oh, you can't comment on it because you never played it. So they would be right if that's their only opinion. But the problem with this is, I did watch a content creator do an entire 100% playthrough of the game. I saw everything there is to see in the game. It is not written well. It is terrible. I don't know why people thought it was. So it's like, I'm gonna say this. If someone liked it, more power to them. But I think trying to basically disregard any criticism of the game and try to claim that it's perfect is just absolutely, like, naive, and you're probably trying to gaslight people at that point. Like, it's clearly a flawed narrative in a lot of ways. If you like it, that's fine, right? Like, you're more than welcome to that opinion. But nothing to do with fans, really. And like I said, I think a lot of it was just the writer for the series had a very, like, very clear idea of what he wanted to do with it. And what he wanted to do with it was the complete opposite of what any of the fans wanted them to do with it. I think even the people that like the game would have told you that's not how they saw the second game panning out. That they would have thought that it would have gone in a different direction. Give them 2 months after Gabe retires? Yeah. even though you can just go to another country and lose access. Yeah, and I think that's kind of a problem, right? Like, it's a rights issue, and that's what Gabe's talked about. Is like, logically, you want to make it so that you don't run into rights issues as a consumer. If a platform is making the consumer insulated from the rights issues, it's a good thing. Because revenge apparently is only bad for some people. Yes. Yes. Like I said, I could give a much more detailed sort of excoriation of that game's story, but I don't want to. I've done it enough times, and like, to me, it's not worth the attention. You guys can see just how many of these I have to do. I have not opened all my boxes, by the way, chat. Kat, is Nemo or Da Vinci a better writer? Well, you're asking me, is a single target or an AoE a better writer? So you tell me. I'll say this, if you put a gun to my head, I would pick Da Vinci every time. But that's just because Da Vinci does more for the party in particular. But I think it's an interesting issue. Has anyone else been picking up more physical copies as the right situation is seemingly getting worse? I haven't. Like I said, I could talk all about what we should be doing, but I absolutely haven't been obeying it myself, right? Like, I think, like, I like to have physical copies when it's like a collector's edition type deal. Like, chat, I got the collector's edition for Skyrim. Let me tell you what, I wish I had gotten the collector's edition for Baldur's Gate, like, in that regard. Not that the collector's edition for Skyrim was bad, just that, like, man, I have ended up enjoying Baldur's Gate so much. Dad, did you try Hue? I have not. I've heard quite a bit about him, though. Oh, Ellie was ruined too? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the best parts in that game that I saw, and when I was watching the streamer stream it, right? The best parts that I saw and that the rest of the chat also clearly felt were the flashback scenes that basically happened during the timeline of the first game. Those scenes were the best scenes in The Last of Us 2. You're talking about the one with the dragon perching statue for Skyrim? The collector's edition? No. Wait, did I say Skyrim? I definitely meant Starfield. But where is it? I still have my patch from the collector's edition and my big ass astronaut. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Like medallion. I don't know what the heck you call this thing. I said Skyrim. I'm sorry. Force of habit. What would have been your game of the year? At the time, Ghost of Tsushima. I did, however, say that I didn't think Last of Us 2 should have won Game of the Year, and that my choice was Ghost of Tsushima. But I said at the time, I hadn't played Hades, and from everything I had heard about Hades, it was certainly worthy of consideration. I mean, this year, Baldur's Gate 3. I don't think there's any argument. I'll say this: I can understand people wanting their favorite game to win Game of the Year. I don't think there's any legitimate good argument to make for any game other than Baldur's Gate 3 winning, though. I think any argument other than that is just bias, basically. And I say this as someone 100% biased towards Baldur's Gate, but the reason that I'm saying that it should be Baldur's Gate has nothing to do with my enjoyment of the game. It has everything to do with basically what the game represents and how it has managed to basically change the landscape going forward for RPGs, for D&D-like games, and for turn-based games. I think the reason that you're seeing it be so controversial after the fact that it won is not that like people suddenly feel like it shouldn't have won. It's that you're now hearing complaints from all the people that actually just don't like that style of game. It had nothing to do with the game being bad. It had nothing to do with the game being unworthy. It just had everything to do with they don't like that style of game. And so it's freaking hilarious to watch those people squirt. I 100% think this validated basically turn-based game being good and being legit and not everything needing to be an action game. A like, you know, hyper movement, twitch reflexes type of game. And the whole reason that I've seen a lot of like the action gamers criticize turn-based games is because I'm gonna flat out tell you they suck at them. Like they think that they are the epitome of skill, and the problem is they don't have the intelligence to beat one of these games. I think people that don't like turn-based games just don't play them. People that complain about turn-based games are usually people that just are actually threatened by them. Would you pre-order a Larian game if they do it again? Would I pre-order? Well, this is a difficult topic. So, what if I told you that I've always pre-ordered and have never stopped pre-ordering? However, what if I also told you that I only pre-order after I see reviews of the game? Like, I literally am the type of person that pre-orders a game like the day before it comes out. I don't pre-order like a year in advance and then get blindsided because I didn't pay any attention to the game. So it's like, I'm only gonna pre-order when I'm sure. Otherwise, I don't pre-order. Like if I'm unsure of a game, I'll wait until it comes out, hear people's opinions from having actually played it. Like at that point, not even reviews, but like actual player testimonials from people I know and stuff like that. And like lay my eyes on it in much more detail before I ever determine whether or not I want to spend money. I think it's important to be very cautious nowadays. Like when people say don't pre-order, I would 100% agree with that. But with an asterisk saying like it's perfectly okay to pre-order right before, right? Like I think once you've decided you are gonna get the game and that like you are convinced that the game is good, you're okay to pre-order. It's don't pre-order before you've laid eyes on the actual like content of the game and how it, like the gameplay loop works. If you don't have any clue, it's probably not a good idea to pre-order. I pre-order anything that FromSoft puts out. I mean, one day FromSoft might put out an actual legit stink bomb, but yeah, I think like a company with a proven track record, you're okay to trust them at least until the point that they fail. But just keep in mind that that may cost you. I almost pre-ordered Pokemon Shield, then I saw E3 that year. Yep. Just do your due diligence. Instructions unclear, pre-ordered the day before. No! The Final Fantasy Rebirth trailer impressed me, but I'm still mad at how they completely changed the plot. Yes. So I'm gonna say this, flat out, chat, that like, I will try to get my hands on Rebirth and play it for you. Unless I think it just actually looks like trash when we get closer. But right now it doesn't seem to be the case. But for those of you guys that are on the fence, I'll play it, and I'm gonna tell you guys my entire stance on the 7 remake, okay? I never got the 7 remake when the first part came out. Even once I saw the gameplay, I'm like, oh, it kind of looks good, but it seems like it's a lot on rails. And I said, all right, I'm going to try to get a key for it. Unless I get a key, I'm just going to wait until it comes to PC. I ended up waiting until it came to PC and getting a key. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. I got a key for their DLC on the PlayStation 5, thinking that it was a key for the DLC and the game. But Sony never sent me the actual game. So I had a DLC key with no game attached. So then I had to wait, and then basically when it was coming to Steam, they were like, hey, we need people to stream this on PC. And I was like, all right, hit me up. Give me the key. And that's where I finally got the key. Because my entire stance on the 7 remake was that I was not going to give them any of my money until the third part dropped. Because it's 100%, the way they've split the game up is 100% a revenue-making strategy. And I've had people be like, well, Cad, you would have been waiting for years at that point. Like, would you have like been wanting to wait 10 years for a full game before you paid? And I'm like, yes, I would. Like, I would rather wait for the entire complete finished product than get it fed to me piecemeal. Like, because I knew too, if when they spread it out part by part, that each part was going to live and die by how it was implemented. And so basically, like I said, I thought the first part looked good, but I knew it was going to be theme park in Midgar. And so as a result, until we actually saw the second part, I knew there was no way to tell whether or not the game would be good. The reason why is because theme parking the first part is, I guess, okay. Theme parking the second part, where the world opens up and you have way more control over where you can go and explore. If you put that one on rails, the 7 remake was gonna suck. And I knew it. And so I was waiting to see what the second part was at minimum before I ever made any decision. So, needless to say, I'm gonna try to get a key for you guys since I've already played through the first part now thanks to them getting the key. If I get a key, I get a key. If I don't, I don't. But I'll try to play it with you. And what I'm gonna do is that's going to determine whether or not I ever buy the third part. If this second part is not implemented well, I will just not touch the third part. Because at this point, it tells me that they just don't get it and they don't know how to do the remake. OG Final Fantasy VII is always $15 and is still good. OG Final Fantasy VII is absolutely worth $15. That being said, no, it's not. Because you're paying for a digital version at this point. So if you're buying the digital version, chat, get that shit on sale. It will eventually go on sale. They do, like, once or twice a year, the Square Enix products go on sale. That's when you need to scoop up the Final Fantasies if you want them. Because again, it's how many years old is Final Fantasy VII, chat? Like 30? Let me double check this. Yeah, 1997. It is 26 years old, chat. So imagine paying $15 for a 26-year-old game, right? Like, and I'm not gonna say that it's not worth it, right? It's just like, no, you should absolutely, there's no pressure on you as to like when to get it, just bide your time. Which Final Fantasy did I play first? My very first Final Fantasy I got in the 8th grade when 10 came out. In 2034, when Final Fantasy VII-R is finally finished, all the former parts of us will be 60% off. Well, that's also why I said, it's like when they started releasing it in multiple parts, I said, if you wait until the end, you know when 7 Rebirth comes out right here, chat, that the first game is going to go on sale. And then when the third part comes out, the first 2 games are going to go on sale. So it's a lot easier to just wait until it's complete and scoop it all up for cheap. But that's why I said, like, I don't mind paying, or I don't mind playing it if I get a key because it's free, but First part's already been on sale? Yeah. Is Samurai Remnant worth buying even though we know it has 4 DLCs? Yes, and I'm gonna tell you why. The base game is good. The DLCs, chat, are probably just gonna be like interludes with a new character. That's it. I don't anticipate them being robust. %, seems to be as low as they'll go so far. Probably, because they still want to make money off of it. That is the issue with Square. Square's kind of greedy. They will always try to like make as much money as they possibly can. A bunch of Final Fantasy stuff is on sale right now. Oh, really? Let me go see. Oh, chat. I get to make a point, probably. Yo, chat. Hey, look, check this out. Chat, look. Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac Age is on sale for 60% off for $20 because it's a base price of $50. This is a fucking scam. Let me tell you why. Okay? So, for starters, let's imagine this is not on sale. That means that a game that came out in 2018, 5 years ago, is still selling for $50. Fuck that shit. Absolutely, that should be cheaper than that. That is a crazy price. And so they tell you that, like, oh, it's 60% off to make you think it's this big steal. Not. I wouldn't even pay $20 for this. I might scoop this up when it's finally like $5 or $10. Okay? Here's why. It is the Zodiac Age equivalent of Final Fantasy. So what that includes is some basically content from the Japanese version that the global version didn't have. Not bad. Also, it includes the new Zodiac job system with improved battle mechanics. So that was a lie, because in my opinion, chat, they're not improved at all. The old Final Fantasy 12 system and this is really low res, used to look like this. It was your what was the word for it, chat? The grid? No, sorry, the license board. This is the license board, and so you could go all throughout the license board, picking up various bits and pieces. They just had to be connected to each other, buying whatever the fuck you wanted. Okay? With the new Zodiac Age version, you are restricted as to what you can get. So, like, let's say you're a character that starts up here and like maybe you can only get like the time magic stuff, the green magic up here. You can't get any of the other parts if your character isn't allowed to get them. That's the way Zodiac Age handles it. In the original game, you could buy everything on every character and kit them out however you wanted. Zodiac Age actually restricted your freedom of choice. And that is why I refuse to pay more money for Zodiac Age that amounts to a graphical upgrade, some new features from JP, and a, as far as I'm concerned, unimproved system. If you want it and actually want to experience it, in my opinion, in a better way, go play the original base game, which you can no longer buy. So you know what that means, chat? If you want to experience the original game, how it was originally intended, piracy. Is what it is.
Longo
12 is way more flexible. Yeah, I don't know why Zodiac Age restricted it. It seemed dumb as all dicks. My adventures in Brazil are coming to an end. No cuckoos were found. Unfortunate. Did you at least get, like, twerked on? Because if not, at least as you're coming back to Twitch, AK, we got you. Like, I've heard people that really like Zodiac Age's changes. For me, that license board change actually kills it for me. I have my OG copy still, same. 12 is actually my most played Final Fantasy, weirdly enough. That just happens to be because it came out when I was in college. Arg, matey, yes. Then there's Nintendo, whose games never go down on price because people like me buy their games. Not true. Nintendo once a year gives you a sale on some of their games. It's always at like Black Friday, I think. You just have to watch out for it. That's actually, that is when I picked up Fire Emblem 3 Houses on sale. Don't have a PlayStation to use them? Do you have a PlayStation 2? Like, are you saying you don't have the original PlayStation, or are you saying you don't have any PlayStation whatsoever? Because that's the case, I feel bad for you. Any PlayStation? Yeah. PS2 is cheap? Oh no, PS2 is like actually worth something nowadays. Or at least it should be. Apparently you can get it for like 90 bucks right now at GameStop. But if you really think about it, that actually is kind of beginning to appreciate in value. Because it's becoming old enough. And I think, like, the only issue with the PlayStation 2 in particular is that I think it's still the most sold console. There was that many of it made. So it's probably still pretty widely available. For retrospect, chat, you can get a Nintendo 64 for $90. And it's an entire generation older, basically. Meanwhile, an original Sega Genesis is now $120. Just gotta keep holding on to it. Is Dreamcast expensive? Let me see. I bet probably not, because it undersold, so there were a lot of copies. eBay's actually selling them for about 300 bucks. So Dreamcast is actually okay. So hold on, no, I see cheaper. I see one for 200. Still though, like, they're getting old enough, chat, that like they're coming back up in price due to their rarity. And it's on sale? Yeah, I mean on eBay. How much is a GameCube? Oh god, that's a good question. I mean, I'm just kind of going off like Google searches for the most part, chat, so. The cheapest I see is you can get a GameCube for 160 bucks. Most of them are going for over 200. $3DS? That's weird. Most of them are like 150, but there's one for like 93 bucks. Oh no, sorry, there's one for 89. It looks like it's like the stylus version? I don't know. I didn't have a 3DS myself. I still have my Game Boy Color. I still have my Game Boy and my Game Boy Color. I still have my Zelda Collector's Editions. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, chat, my Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask Gold Collector's Edition is $118. Okay, no. Yeah, no, that's 124, so that's even more. Now, apparently there's one here that's pre-owned for 75. Can I jump? I can, but will I? My first ever Game Boy was the Advance SP, and I still have it. Nice. Greed Tendo, yes. Your Fire Emblem Awakening 3DS to see something crazy? Hold on. $42. On both GameStop and Amazon. Was it supposed to be like a crazy price? Oh, like the actual... I don't know what to type in to find that. So what, like the limited edition? Yeah, it's like $3,000. Why is that so expensive? Oh no, never mind. Never mind. Here's one for 800. No, apparently you can currently find one on eBay for 150. And one sold as low as 140. I don't know what that $3,000 one is. Somebody just asking for the moon there. Earthbound for SNES is stupid expensive. Yeah, I know some of the older ones are. eBay, what the fuck? Why? Yeah, this is actually stupidly expensive. The cheapest I see is 400. Nope, 368. That's wild. Why is that? Granted, I understand. Like, I assume like original Nintendo and like Super Nintendo are now old enough that very few people have copies. And they're from an era where, while gaming was popular, it was not that pervasive yet. Especially when something's like a Japanese only type of game that maybe never made it to the US. That's a lot rare and a lot more valuable. Meanwhile, the duck hunt gun only sells for like 30 bucks. Dude, what? The duality of eBay. Someone is selling the Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt game for 99 cents. Also, right beneath that, someone is selling the Super Mario Brothers game for $11,000. What? Why are so many of my Nintendo games so damn expensive? They're just rare. When does Tunguska start? We have the stream on the 21st, and the actual like thing should start on the 22nd. Oh, I can get my favorite game for $11,000. Yeah, I mean, or a dollar. Take your pick. I mean, even if the dollar's a scam, you're only out $1. So it's like, it might be worth chat. Let me see what an original Nintendo Entertainment System sells for. Wait, you can get one for 30 bucks right now. What? That feels like you should just go buy that, because that is way too cheap. Is it parts only? I don't know. It even says it's typically 90 to 120. Oh, it's just the repair services. Okay. I was gonna say, like, what the heck? Okay, I trust Cat, I'm buying it. No, I mean, that was like, I was like, man, that just seems way too cheap for a console that is clearly not getting made anymore. Grand Space, thank you for the 21. The price of 5 Duck Hunt games, I give you the sub, thank you. How many copies of a servant you've summoned? Ooh, a way to check how many copies of a servant you've summoned. You could backdoor it with coins, but that wouldn't work in the case of 3 stars and lower. And you may have spent some of the coins. USOs for your 5 stars would be the answer, so the real problem would be like 4 stars. I'm not sure there is an easy way to tell. I know there is internal data that is kept on your on your account that allows the devs to know how many of each. I'm not sure there's any way you can see it. Spent coins is easy to calc though. It is. That'd be the easiest unless you well, I guess on NA we don't have this problem yet, but on JP you could have potentially burnt some coins. Hit your box goal? Yeah, we're doing the ice node right now. I hit my box goal yesterday on stream. Hold up, I just checked the GSSR this year and I don't see Oberon. I think he's there. I think he's under the extra class ones. It's still going to be a crapshoot as to whether or not you get him, though. Burn coins? Yeah, Grail casting's coming. Speaking of which, chat, we have, on the 17th, I believe, we are getting teapots. Does anyone remember, did I make a video on teapots? I could have sworn I did, but I was trying to think about which one it is. I don't know if one of you sleuths wants to go see. Because I could have sworn I talked about teapots in one of them. I don't remember. I don't think you did. I thought I did. Teapots are pretty easy logic. If I didn't talk about it in a video, they're in the new player guide. So it wouldn't be hard for me to go pull that up and literally make a video out of it, but I had that thought today of like, I might need to make one. Use them until there's gone. Well, there's logic to it, but it is pretty simple in that regard. We have this. Okay. Oh man. Oh man. I was so naive back then. Wait. Hold on, chat. You're sure we had them originally for Tunguska? I'm not sure we did, because this video is from Valentine's Day. They released them right before. Yeah, they must have allowed either a 2-month expiration on that first batch, or maybe they didn't have an expiration at first. I don't remember. Was that the only video that I talked about it? It's a video about you speculating? Yeah, I was speculating Bond 20. That teapots were in the game in order to prep us for upcoming content that would basically either facilitate having high bond or, again, like some sort of thing with like an expansion to your bond amounts. And the reality that we discovered was there was content a year later that would be impacted by bond, but it was not a huge deal in that regard. And two, that they had no plans of increasing the bond cap. Therefore, teapots are a scam. They're literally just designed to make you bond faster. They're designed to make you finish your units quicker. Here's the JP news. Yeah, let me see. I don't know. I just like I'm drawing a complete blank as to them being around during Tunguska. I didn't think we got them until like early next year. basically after Tunguska. I will say this, chat. Regardless of any video I make, please understand how, like, utterly fucking worthless teapots are. And the reason I'm saying that to you, I want you guys to understand that it is not worth going insane trying to acquire every teapot. And the reason I'm saying that is because they are the reward for the super recollection quests that we will start getting next year. They are not worth your sanity. Like, if you want to do the super recollection because you enjoy it, you want the challenge, go for it. But if you're someone that, like, either your account's not good enough or you don't think you would enjoy spending over an hour on a fight, you definitely don't need to get them. It just says that they will expire, yeah. Wait, does it not give the date of expiration? I'm actually curious about that. Like on the NA one. Yeah, okay. It didn't expire until Valentine's. So I just must not have made the video right away. I do remember when they first came out, everyone was like, what the heck are these? Should we use them? And, like, people, the general consensus was like, don't use them until we see what's coming. And at the time, we knew Tunguska was coming, but we didn't, like, know much about Tunguska. I tend to like the tough CQs, so time will tell if I end up doing the super recollection quest. I mean, I can say this with regards to the super recollection quest. I'm not gonna say I'm the only one. I'm just the only content creator that I know of that did them all, like on stream with you guys. I'm sure someone else did. I just didn't see it if they did. But the reason that I'm saying that is because I think most other people didn't bother with them. And that's kind of the reason that I'm saying that. It's like, the problem with those fights is if you're not a super whale, they just take really, really, really long in most cases. They're not easy, and they're easy to mess up. So, like, if you get half an hour into an hour-long fight and screw up, that's salt-inducing for some people. Cat's going for round 2. I mean, I now know the easy ways to beat them all, but... Bond is the only thing I'm going to farm nowadays, stocked up on all the mats for future units, so Teapot is worth it personally. Yeah, I mean, I think bonding in general is nice, right? Like, I think the concept of getting more quartz from bonding is the ideal and why you should do it. The reason that you guys hear me, like, sort of deriding them for their changes to the bonding system and what they're doing is because it pretty clearly is designed to make you not be able to use the same unit over and over and over again. They're trying to make you bond the meta supports and, like, your favorite grailed unit even faster. They want you to stop using them. They want you to roll new units and basically make them more money. It's a weird thing, but, like, otherwise bonding is good. Like, you'll never hear me complain about it in itself. It's more, I don't like the tactics of how they're trying to get us to go about it. Let me force to roll for the Tunguska Seas. I'll do my Tunguska analysis, but no. Yeah, in chat. So that you're clear, right? Like, you're going to end up getting, like, what is it, like 3 teapots or whatever from completing a super recollection quest. So you're going to end up spending, like, again, like an hour in a fight, beat the Super Recollection quest, and your only reward for that will be the 3 teapots. That'll like, that's going to be kind of the issue with it. And what a teapot does, if you're unsure, the teapot increases the amount of bond you get from a node. It's a non-insignificant amount. Like it is, I think it's 50%, chat, or is it 100%? I think it doubles the amount. And so it's actually really nice in that regard. The problem with them is they're limited. They expire if you don't use them. So you can't stack them. There's no really big strategy around that. The strategy is just find the node that gives the best bond within the expiration period and use them on that. The problem with this is, because of the way that it works, is that logically you're probably going to be taking units into that node, because the best nodes for bond usually are high level nodes at this point, and they usually will, you know, require you to actually take like meta supports and stuff. So they may already be units that you have at like max bond, or they may already be units that like you necessarily don't want to focus on bond. Any thoughts on Draco being only in the Destiny pool? I've said it before. Terrible. If bond Cs are better, they'd be more useful and try to go for them. No, I mean, I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is just like, they're a one-off, right? So 3 teapots is 3 runs. So chat, when you see that I am getting, like, again, 615 plus 92 bond here, double it. That's the amount I'd get for using a teapot here. So it's as if you ran the node again. So it's just saying like, hey, those 3 teapots are if you had run the node 3 more times. That's it. Like it's not game breaking. It's not gonna like really change that much, right? Like, so yeah, there are some nodes that if you play your cards right, you can get a lot of bond out of, but I don't know. I think like in the grand scheme of things, it's actually just a minuscule amount. And like I said, it's why I think most of the content creators in particular skipped it. They didn't want to have to deal with it. It's 10 per Super Recollection, but still not worth an hour of my time. Yeah. The fact that teapots don't enter the Mana Prism shop is a shame. Honestly, they have a big issue at this point. They've added a lot of stuff to the Mana Prism shop, but they haven't given you more real ways of making Mana Prisms. The only additional way for making Mana Prisms that has been implemented in the past, like, 3 years is rolling. You now get Mana Prisms when you roll the gacha on JP. Not the FP gacha, just the actual gacha. That's it. The only way. Daily quest? Yeah, that's why I said 3 years. The daily quest change was the last one before that. Would be nice to speed up 5-star to bond 6 with those. Yeah, that's usually what I use it for. I try to use it to like focus certain units up faster. It's just difficult in most cases, and all you end up doing is bonding your supports. Because they always seem to be in the party when you do it. Burn those 3-star servants and Cs. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, right? Like, I think the teapots were a nice premise, but I think without that bond increase, like, I kind of go like, eh. And I'm gonna say this, chat. Because of the way teapots are, and I really want you to think on this. A broken urn. Why do they need to expire? Or rather, here's a better question. Why is the expiration as short as it is? Like, why is it not like a year long or something like that? Like, it's really overly like tight for something that doesn't need to be. Even if you were to get like 100 teapots and stack them all and go farming, it's not that crazy. Not when you need literal millions of bond, right? Like, there is a node in LB7 It's part of the story that if you manage to have and use a teapot, you would get 100,000 bond out of it. And it is a one-off. So it doesn't matter. Even if you had 100 teapots, you could only ever use one on that. And that's kind of the issue. And I think the problem with that one is the teapots expire very quickly after the release of that. And the issue there is that, like, I think a lot of people when it came out had already used their teapots because they were fearing them running out. So most people didn't even get to do it on JP. Don't you get Saint Quartz after Bond 10? Only if you buy the Chaldean Visionary Flame, aka the Bond Grail. Only if you put a Bond Grail on a unit and then get it to the next rank do you get that. So Bond 10 doesn't get you anything. It gets you your 3 quartz, but that's it. Bond 11, which you can unlock from a Bond Grail, once you complete Bond 11, will get you 30. That's the problem with it, is that, like, it basically ends up taking a shit ton of time. Like, chat, each bond for, like, Bond 10 to 11, right, is the equivalent of, like, Bond 1 through 10. It takes forever to get it done. Oh, right, yeah, sorry, because the C. I'm sorry, I was not thinking. But yeah, so it's like, it's why I've told people before, your best use of your rare prisms is actually your whatchamacallit, your crystallized lures. It's not that the Bond Grails have no value. They do. It's just that it takes you so long to actually complete most of them. Even with teapots, it's still going to take forever. That the issue at play is more of like, it's more of a waiting game type deal. Like, chat, you can see I've had her in my backline all day. How much have I managed to progress Bond 11 on Maid Altar? Can y'all even see a sliver here? I can't. So that's kind of the logic behind it. It just takes forever to realize. So it's not that it doesn't have value. It's just that it's a slow burn. And it's further offset by the fact that a ton of Bond Grails get given out for free at Annie 7 or like right before it. Actually, I don't know if Torak's still around. He was looking that up for me today. I just don't remember exactly when they came out. But basically, JP dumped a bunch of free rare mats like that on us. How often do they give you the item that levels up bonds after Bond 10? Well, you can actually see that in our spreadsheet. Oh, sorry, 88, not 87. Thank you, yeah. Not this year coming up, the next year. The year that JP is just now completing. The chat, y'all are headed into 2024, okay? This is just from events, mind you. So you may get like a Bond Grail from something like New Year's or something like that. Something that's not part of an event. But just from events, how many Bond Grails are you guys going to get next year? 1. From campaigns, you'll probably get somewhere like 2 to 3. So you guys can probably expect to get somewhere in the realm of like 3 to 4 for free per year. It's usually how it works. Okay. In fact, like I said, I think there will be one at New Year's. Usually there's one in the grab bag that you can buy with mana prisms at New Year's. But yeah, you just don't get a whole lot. That's why some people go like, oh my God, I have to buy these with my rare mana prisms. The reality is you only need enough to offset your most used units. So what do I mean by that? I mean basically your like meta supports that you're going to be using constantly, your major farmers that you're going to use a lot, so like Nito, Chris, and Arash, if you see yourself using them a lot. And again, it doesn't even have to be something like that. It might be like a Musashi Berserker. It might be a Space Ishtar, someone that you really see yourself using a ton. Basically, someone that you know you will use enough times to be able to get to Bond 11, Bond 12, whatever on them, right? Like, be able to actually complete the Bond Grail. So to give you guys perspective on this, I do not have my Merlin Bond Grailed on an A. He is sitting at Bond 10. Why? Because when I use Merlin, it's in a challenge quest, and it's more of like a rarity that it happens. It would take forever for me to actually get Merlin to Bond 11 based off those parameters. I would have to just throw him in my backline and degen him. And that's really not worth it. Not when I have plenty of other units that I can bond faster and easier than trying to get to Bond 11. So for instance, right here is a classic example of this. Boom, right there, Bond 8, easy. Doesn't take me nearly as long to get done, and I get some faster courts that way. So it's like, could I Bond Grail him? Yes. Would it kill me to do so? No. It's just one of those deals where I realize that it would take so long and I don't use him often enough, it's not really warranted. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is there's no real harm, chat, in wasting the occasional, like, 1,000 bond to save rare prisms. Or basically to say, hey, you know what? I might be able to use that Bond Grail on, like, someone else that I maybe see myself using a lot, right? That could be all that it would be. So Merlin at Bond 14, I shouldn't Bond Grail? No, I mean, you could. If you've already managed to bond him to that much, you can, right? Like, it just depends on how much you see yourself using a unit. Merlin may not even be that good of an example in that regard, chat. I don't know. Think of someone that's maybe like Bond 10 that you just managed to happen to like get there, right? Oh, this may be a better one for some of you. Herc. Most of you guys rush Bond 10 Herc. You really want his Bond CE. But how many of you guys use Bond 10 Herc regularly? Like, a lot of people get him to Bond 10 and then kind of stop using him. So it's like, should you slap the Bond Grail on him? If you're not going to use him, no, you shouldn't. You should put the Bond Grail on someone else you're going to use. The issue with this happens to be that for most people, you're kind of limited to how many Bond Grails you can use. And if you're a free-to-play, you don't have a lot of rare prisms to be able to buy the Bond Grails in the first place. You have to be even more selective. So that's why I say, like, in the end, you never, ever, ever have enough crystallized lores. And no matter how many you get, you can always use more. With Bond Grails, though, we get given a huge influx of them, and it's so many that you eventually just go like, I'm good. I don't have to buy Bond Grails for like years at this point. So that's kind of, I think, the issue that you run into is it really just depends on how often you're using the units, how many Bond Grails you see yourself getting. And so that's what I've told people. It's like, it's okay to buy a Bond Grail here and there. Where I would tell you to buy them, though, is only make sure you have enough to get you to that point in like where JP's at, where they gave you a ton. Basically, just try to subsist until that moment. You have to wait a year and a half for that point on an A, though. Yeah. Like, for someone like me, it's very easy for me to just buy my Bond Grail and my crystallized lore. Where it becomes a lot more difficult is when we're, you know, talking like, hey, I'm on a budget. I'm not a whale. I basically only have certain, you know, certain capabilities. What do you think about the Twitch sex update? I talked about it at the very beginning. I've been asked about it now numerous times. Like I said, it doesn't bother me to the extent that that like there's nudity on the platform or anything like that. I think it was actually warranted for the art community in particular. But like, the thing that I hope is that they actually put better protections for like underage people and stuff. Like there needs to be some sort of age verification or something that like, I guess like at least shove off all the NSFW content into like a pseudo Pornhub version of the website. Like basically like give it its own directory, move it over here, let it like be away from the rest of the content that isn't NSFW. Otherwise, I don't care. Twitch Hub, yeah. Some people didn't read the bit about VTuber models. I didn't read it to you guys. I didn't realize it was a thing. But the reason that I didn't is because we were reading the TLDR, which is what I think a lot of other people read. In the fine print, they apparently explicitly called out the part about VTuber models saying, hey, no, this does not apply to you. So it's really interesting. It's not meant to be on a homepage. It's not Edge, but they already proved that that's not actually happening. Kai Cenat, I think, had his stream set for like sexually explicit stuff, and he still appeared on the homepage today. So I'm not sure Twitch has thought this one out or even had the time to actually like implement it all yet. Like you're not wrong. It's not supposed to, but I don't know if Twitch has actually done it yet. Which is kind of interesting. Twitch engineers are probably panicking. Oh, you think the engineers are? We're like legal. Twitch legal probably panicking. Ooh, very nice spot. We gonna get bond grails for money? Well, what do you mean? Like rare prisms? In that regard, yeah, that's kind of what it takes in order to buy bond grails. But like, you don't have to, like you will get some for free. It's just you have to make the most of those free ones and then decide how many more you need. That's why, like, I 100% believe that like the mantra of free-to-play should just buy bond grails is completely wrong. Like, free-to-plays should ask themselves how many bond grails they need, and then with all remaining rare prisms, like, again, you probably, even before the bond grail point, need to be like trying to get your mystic codes and like the CEs and stuff that you need out of the rare prism shop. From there, then ask yourself how many bond grails you need, and then with all remaining rare prisms, you need to be buying crystallized lores. 100%. Every crystallized lore you don't buy is a crystallized lore you will never get back. Which you could say is true of bond grails, but most people cannot actually bond enough units to be able to use the bond grail every single month. Is there a new tag added mint for this category? So it's not a tag. So the tags you guys see beneath streams is not what they're talking about. What they're talking about is content labels, and content labels are something that appear in the streamer's dashboard. Basically are like sort of like web page that we set up the stream with. That's where you have to set the label. So basically it's called a content classification label. It's a separate place from like tags. Let me see if I can show you guys here without like, I don't know, I don't want to like dox myself or something here real quick. But so like right here, you guys can see this is my stream dashboard, okay? And you can see here are the tags that I have set, but this is the content classification label. Okay, so right here is where you actually have to set it, and basically this is where you put it in, and this will not appear beneath your stream. What this does is this will give you a like check on or check off type thing whenever a viewer comes in. Like if they have not been in a sexual themed stream before, they will have to say, yes, I wish to view this. But that's it. That's all it does. Like it's more meant to indemnify Twitch and the streamer from harm should they be doing something risque. What's his thoughts on it? God damn it. I apparently need to record a video at this point. But no, it's like I said, it doesn't bother me. I'm more like, I went on a rant earlier, but my rant is more directed at like Twitch and the idiots that think that like the current iteration of this is okay. Like I have no issue with like there being nudity or anything like that. My issue is just predominantly like protecting the underaged and stuff like that. I think they're gonna get in major trouble with chat. What is it, COPA or whatever? Like the laws for like underage like children and stuff like that. But we'll see, because like Twitch's official stance is like, oh, well, you can't be on the channel unless or on the website unless you're 13, and I'm like, yeah, that's just not true. Like, I guarantee you there are underage people in every stream. Yes, the COPA. The copium. I can't see myself with less than 40 lures. So let me ask you this, Francos. Why haven't you used those lures? You're saying you have 52 lures. And you can't see yourself with less than 40. You either don't have the roster that you should, because you're not rolling your FP units, or you're just not actually having the QP to spend to get the lures to that point, or maybe even the mats to get your skill actually up to 10. Like, this doesn't sound like it's a lore issue. This sounds like it's more of a like resource or player issue, and I don't mean that in an insulting way. I'm saying realistically every single one of those lures still has value no matter your account. No matter your account. Could someone read dojins and just chatting with this new TOS? Could someone read dojins? I think you've always been able to read them. Could they like view them on their screen? I don't know about that. Per their new TOS, I don't think so still. You can't just look at nudity, basically. And certainly not sex. And I usually just use lures when I need them for the first time. Yeah, and I think that's how a lot of people are, is because the lures are such a limited resource, they just basically only use them as required. Which isn't the worst stance. But I'm going to tell you again, like, every single one of them has value. Like, chat, based off where I'm at the current moment, like, in all of my farming, you guys have seen, like, I'm trying to spend my QP down like crazy because I want to get rid of it. You guys can actually see how much QP I'm currently at. I'm at 1.5 bill. I have not opened all of my boxes. And now, let's see. You want to see how many lures I currently have? I'm sitting on 10, and I'm being very cautious. And the reason why is because, chat, that is 3 units worth of lures. Not even if you start considering appends. Okay? I can very easily just finger snap that one away. If I wanted to get rid of all of these, do you know how many rank 9 skills I have at the moment? This would not even put the slightest dent in them if I wanted to do that. Then the real question comes down to, do you need to lore every skill? And the answer is no, you don't. For the skills that you should lore, I actually have an entire video on your skill priorities and how to handle them. It's an old video. It still holds up to this day. None of that logic has ever changed. And the logic basically goes like this. Charge skills, then damage dealing skills, then survival skills and other extracurriculars. That simple. Your charge skills almost always must be lured. There are exceptions to it. Your damage skills don't have to be lured, but naturally, when you lure them, you get more damage. So you probably want to lure the good ones. The ones that you see yourself using a lot. Basically, there's no wrong stance with luring a damage skill, a major steroid that a unit would have. And that's kind of like, to give you guys an example, that would be luring Sanzang's first skill here, which is both her charge skill and a steroid. Damage skill, you want to at least skill 9 it? Yep. And you guys can see, like, when you look at my account, you can see how many lures I have. and this is why I talk about this so profusely, right? Like, I think a lot of people look at me and like, man, how did Cad do that? And they're like, oh, it's because he has NP5s. Chat, you ever seen my JP account? Do I have all NP5s over on my JP account? Do I sit there and roll through content still with an NP1? Hell yeah. How do I do it? Well, I take care of my account very well. And I have people that are like, man, how does he do it? I don't understand. I can't seem to do it. It's because I take care of my account. I level my skills. I actually lore things. I think there's a lot of people out there too that view lores almost as this like whalish type of resource where it's like, yeah, it must be nice. You can get a skill to 9. And it's like, yeah, because I tried to. Most of the people don't actually have any idea what their account needs. They never look at the resource requirements they have. They just see that they're deficient in a resource and they just, you know, basically throw that to the back of their mind. Well, I have stuff like Chaldea app, and even then, I still don't do Chaldea app for my JP account. So how have I managed my JP account all these years? I take a look at my mats, I look at what I'm low at, I go farm. Once I realize that I'm at a good point, I go back through, I look at the skills I want to work on. If all of a sudden I'm now good on that skill, I progress it and move on. Just farm, bro. It is that simple. It is literally use your AP, don't waste it. And as long as you do that, you're good. Like, the thing to keep in mind too, and Rial, thank you for the 6 months. And also Peaceful, if I didn't say it, thank you as well for the 37. Still behind on CE drops, yeah. He's still got another like 24 hours at this point. And thank you. Ah, here we go. That one red crystal I can't remember. Wouldn't the Koyan meta maybe bring more things into being Lord since you get the cooldown low enough for 2 uses? Yeah. I mean, certainly, like, so the example for that right here would be like, hey, look, I've got the charge skill, but it's on a 7-turn cooldown, so I can't get it low enough unless I have a cooldown reduction from like a Mystic Code or someone else in the party. But then there's other things where it's like, aha, I have it on a 6-turn cooldown. I can get back to that within a 3-turn cadence thanks to Koyan. So having it Lord really helps. But then if I maybe have a 6-turn cooldown that can get as low as 5 when it's Lord, that allows me to double pop it. It allows me to get it active sooner in the comp. Rather than on turns 1 and 3, I get it on 1 and 2. So there's a lot of logic behind it. And that's why I say, like, I think most of the arguments against lores always fall flat because it basically just amounts to like either lack of preparedness or laziness. And I'm not going to call anyone lazy. I assume people have logical reasons for why they can't do whatever they're trying to do with their account. That being said, I think we can all admit that we're all lazy at times. So you be the judge. I'm not going to call you lazy, but we're all lazy. How many boxes to NP5 Martha? 5? I think so. I would definitely try to do at least your 10, Nez. That should be easy with 24 hours. 2 CE drops in a row? Nice. Copies are in the shop. Oh, right, yeah, it's the Ascension mats that's in the boxes. But, and I do want to say, too, I am the epitome of someone that believes that you should not have to lore every skill. You should not have to take every skill to 9, even. There are plenty of people out there that will 9 every single skill in the game. More power to them, right? Like, my only stance on this is that some skills are unworthy of it because they have not yet received an upgrade. The reverse logic is that if you always upgrade every skill to 9, you're prepared for any upgrade. And I think that is definitely some smart logic, but also I think it's unreasonable for most players. Like, usually the only people that can take every skill to 9 are whales. You have to farm so much that you have that capability. Unfortunately, real life can get in the way. A lot of farming can happen. Yeah, I completely get that. And like I said, that's why I don't treat it as like people being lazy. I treat it as people just having bottlenecks. And the concept being that eventually you will succeed, right? Eventually you will be able to do this. Usually when I see people declare something as like whalish or impossible, it's more of a reflection of their mentality than it is an actual truth. The reason I say this is because there are things that I have done on my JP account that most people would consider to be impossible if you're not a whale. Those types of things are like leveling up all of your units, finishing all of your mystic codes. They just take time and effort and consistency. That's it. That's usually all it is. But some people will treat it as, oh, that takes so long, it just can't be done. And then you realize that it's more like people just getting defeatist on themselves, right? Like, that's usually the problem, is like, they just see the amount of work that it would take, and they just check out. I hate looking at skills and seeing uneven numbers. Oh, it doesn't bother me. I have come across quite a few people, though, over time that are like, oh man, like, I refuse to lore a skill on a unit. I know exactly who I'm talking about when I say this. I refuse to lore a skill on a unit unless I lore all of their skills, which is a very interesting mentality. But that just comes down to like personal preference at that time. Put everything to 6 max, yeah. I've sort of settled into the comfortable set of servants I like using. I'd say there's nothing wrong with that, but you should still develop your account to be prepared for situations where your favorites don't work. And you might be thinking like, oh, well, I have multiple. Surely that won't happen. It will. The devs aren't doing their job if they aren't forcing you out of your comfort zone. I'm in an account from year one, not a 1-year-old account. That was poorly explained to me. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Servant roster is maxed. All my 5 stars and the good 4 stars and the FP servants. Right. So then to me, all that sounds like for Uncas is you could use them and you just don't. Like if you're sitting on 70 lores, you can easily use some of those. Especially now that appends exist. I used to not buy lore because it would never be enough. So what's the point? Now I just get it whenever I can. Yeah. Yeah, and like if you're a free-to-play, you just may not actually have enough rare prisms to be able to consistently buy it. Don't worry about that. It's not the end of the world. Like, but at that point, each and every lore you get is just extra value. My situation is not indicative of most players, I think. I disagree. And the only reason I disagree is because year 1 players will have accumulated a ton of lores. So my only question is, why haven't you spent yours? What's stopping you? Do you not view the skills as worth? Or do you not have the resources to use them? Like, is it not the lore that's the issue, but rather you can't get to the point to be able to use the lore? Because usually a year 1 player at this point, if you're still playing, you're a pretty consistent player. If you stuck around for this. I wish I could grind an FGO, but I get easily bored, not sure why. I don't know. I think a lot of it is like if you're not a fan of the like gameplay style or something, or I don't know. Like I'll say this: if you're a newer player, I completely understand. Like the game is super tedious for you, and the easiest way to get through that point is to build your account to a point that you can 3-turn nodes. Like. Chat, look at what I'm doing on the screen. This is the epitome of convenience. I am double K-scoped here. double super case goes. I am pressing 2 buttons. And the only reason I'm pressing 2 buttons is because even though I can do this comp with only 1 button press, it's actually faster to press 2 buttons because the person that can do it with 1 button press is a little slow. Double K scoped up on a Thursday night? Yes. And like, I just want to say again, please don't take it as an insult when I'm asking you, like, why haven't you done this? It's a legitimate question. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to challenge you into thinking along those lines too. Like, hey, why am I not? Am I holding on to these? Am I hoarding them because I feel like they're this rare limited resource that's special? Or is it that, like, I can't actually get to the point where I can use them because I haven't developed my skills enough? Like, on my unit, right? Like, I don't know. Only you can answer that question. I can't. I forgot that spinning boxes still gives bronze apples, and I have hundreds more bronze apples for farming. It never ends. So, the only thing I'll say is keep in mind you can save those apples for something like Tunguska, Barbados raid that'll be coming up after New Year's. And again, like even something like Tesla Fest for the next Lotto. It's completely up to you as to how many apples you want to spend. Which I absolutely need to lore for my playstyle, and which I don't. Fair. I mean, like, I can't say anything to that other than, like, it sounds like it's more of a just playstyle preference that you have than more than anything. It's like, your only reason for not utilizing the lore is because you don't see yourself using the units. And that's fine. I'm just going to say, like, the way I approach the game is I want, you know, all of my units at least somewhat prepped. I want them somewhat ready. So I go ahead and do the work, and that's why the game basically can't throw anything at me that I'm not prepared for. Like, even on my JP account that has far less units, the game... I actually talked about this recently, that, like, one of the reasons I rolled for Khadroth is I didn't have a good spammable, like, buff remover on my JP account. Now with that, that's like one of the last niches my JP account really needs. And there's tons of units I don't have in my JP account. My JP account is, at this point, stacked for what it is, for how much money has been spent on it. And that's why, like, it's ridiculous how much I can get away with for how little I've actually done. For me on NA, my account, I'm still playing to set up my roster on 999 for the time being, unless the coin fix is implemented. Ah, God, don't even get me started on the coin fix, man. Like, to me, that is one of the most disappointing things for the devs. And every day that we continue to go on without a fix, I continue to be more disappointed. Slowly but surely, that, like, sanity meter is either ticking up or down. I'm not sure which direction it's headed, but, like... it's basically just to me a like sort of stain, a like black mark on their record at this point that they have not like done something about that situation, especially since they've publicly acknowledged it. Do I hear the Tunguska raid is good? The final raid's pretty good. The prior ones are not around long enough and have so many crazy gimmicks that like they'll be very difficult to get real value out of. Makes no sense why they just dropped the coin system. Hell, still don't get why they do main interludes more often. In general, the explanation that I can offer, because I don't know, and no one ever will unless the devs actually talk about it, is just simply that it's usually... Our best guess is that it's usually a manpower issue. And we don't know why. We don't know why they can't get more people. We don't know why content's taking so long for them to get out. Maybe they have, you know, just they're unable to, like, hire more and they've lost a bunch. Or maybe it's possible, and this is the super, like, copium/hopium theory, would be that Maybe they're working on another project behind the scenes. But I think the problem that we have is there's signs pointing to that not being the case and rather it being the other way. And that's their real consistent push and like sort of campaigns that they're running to try and hire more people. It really seems like they are like not having a good go of things when it comes to actually having enough. What are the paws used for? So faux paws? Faux paws add like flat attack basically to your cards. They're actually a lot better than flat attack. They're actually like raw attack. So it's actually the attack stat. So like, Chad, if you had 10,000 attack and you normally attacked, you would basically, you know, deal the amount of damage that would be relevant to 10,000 attack. If you have a card fully faux pawed up to 500 and you use it, that would be like attacking with 10,500 attack. So it does get factored into the same part of the formula as your normal attack stat, which is very good. It's really, on, I believe, on the front end of the formula, if I remember correctly. And it scales pretty nicely with buffs. The only problem is just like in the grand scheme of things, it's actually still not that much. Like, it's not going to make a huge difference in your overall power. It's just a nice thing to do extra on top of things to like make your favorite unit more like strong and more special. It's not gonna make a unit that was doing like 10,000 damage with an attack do 20,000. It's gonna make a unit do slightly more. Yeah, the issue with the faux pas is simply so the faux pas were implemented into the game as, again, another way to like specialize your favorite unit. But I can tell you the devs' perspective on it was to try and implement it because it's a good QP sync. It's, I think, 500,000 per faux pas. So basically every 2 faux pas is 1 million QP. Definitely adds up pretty quick. It definitely makes it so that, like, it's not something that a player wants to choose lightly. Actually, I said 500,000. I think it's even more than that. I think it might be like 5 million or something. It's enough that it's a significant choice where it's like if you're low on QP, you don't want to be using your faux pas if you don't have to. But the problem with it serving as a QP sync is not the amount they have it set to. It's the frequency at which they give out faux pas. They don't give out faux pas often enough to for it to actually be a tangible QP sync. Yeah. Scales the more you boost it. Thank you. Okay, yeah, I could not remember. I know for someone like me that basically on my NA account, I don't care about QP. I have way too much of it, and I'm always looking for ways to get rid of it. That I'm basically at this point just like loading up my faux pas and just maxing it out and going and not caring. So I very rarely care or am concerned about the QP cost. Yeah, it drains QP. Quality of life do I want for New Year's besides the obvious dealing with pity and coin system? I would love for them to implement a 100 FP roll. I would love for them to implement a stack size filter to the mailbox. I would love for them to implement some sort of way of adding a 20 stack of craft essences to another craft essence. Kind of like how you have it with Embers where there's the like auto load button. I want that. So I think each one of those 3 quality of lives would drastically improve the game and people's enjoyment of it. From the simple standpoint of doing those 3 actions is incredibly tedious, time-wasting, and annoying for players. So getting rid of that kind of gets rid of quite a bit of animosity towards people. I've only faux pawed my Amakusa and waiting until Curate to use them again. Yeah. Let me choose the different menu themes of the OSTs I buy. Yeah, I've talked about that one before too. Like, why the heck can you not... Like, chat, there is 0 point, okay? You guys heard me talk all about, like, crystallized lores and my stance on them versus, like, bond grails, right? Why the heck would any of you buy any of the OSTs in the My Room shop. Why? There's no point. You are spending Ascension mats for nothing. You get literally nothing because you can't play it outside of that My Room. There's no point to owning it. Just go listen to it on YouTube. And at least at that point, you can listen to it while you're farming. Like, it's kind of wild that I am sitting in this node that I have farmed like well over 100 times at this point, listening to the same stinking background music that I just, at this point, mentally tune out. I should be able to set it to like, oh man, I really feel like this theme. That would actually give you a reason to have purchased it. It is one of the most useless features in FGO, and it's a trap. And every single time someone buys something from it, they're just wasting their resources. It is literally free on YouTube. Go listen to it there. The leveling is the management that I dread most. It's not too bad, but I do agree it's super tedious. It'd be nice if they sped it up. I think that's kind of the issue with grail casting. And so two of those 3 quality of lives that I talked about dealt with grail casting. So those of you guys know I have a special place in my heart for the lack of coin fix and basically how grail casting currently works on JP. It is the worst aspect of FGO. Nobody should have to do it. It is the most tedious, boring, and bullshit thing. NA will not experience it for a long time. We're going to get grail casting right here after New Year's, and most of us should have quite the veritable hoard of coins, because coins were given to NA a year early, so we had an entire year to build up our coin supply ahead. But on JP, I have to roll out my FP every single month to print my grails. I am running out. I will eventually be out. And at that point, I can't print any more grails. Thank God. And the reason I say thank God is because it is the worst experience you can have in FGO, short of like spending a ton of money and not getting the unit that you want. The reason why this is the case is because you have to sit there for usually hours on end doing your FP rolling. It can take anywhere from like 4 to 8 hours depending on luck. It is ridiculous. You should not have to do that every stinking month. Well, really? Yes, really. You need 4,000 coins. It takes forever to get 4,000 coins if you don't already have them from like gotcha whaling and other stuff. So that's kind of the problem that I run into. It is by far the worst aspect of it. Most whales will sit there and just have coins and not care about this mechanic. Most free-to-plays will not have FP and thus not care about printing grails. I am the rare like free-to-play run type of account. And again, I know I've spent money on my JP, so I can't rightfully call it free-to-play, but I am the rare free-to-play run, because I run it like it's a free-to-play account, that has enough FP to have made it 2 whole years on JP without running out. I have not missed a grail casting in 2 years on JP since it was implemented. And I'm going to make a video sort of recapping that soon and what I think needs to change, because it is terrible. I have printed, chat, then... it's 2 grails every single month. So I have printed 48 grails on JP without ever missing one. That is, I want you guys to say, at least go ahead and say it is 24 times 4 at minimum. And I think on average, it's probably more like 24 times about 6. So, this is 144 hours of my life down the drain due to purely bad, unoptimized menus and shitty quality of life absence. That has got to change. I want my 4 to 8 hours every single month back. Do you think they were trying to fix grail casting a little bit by giving you extra coins from the pilgrim leaf? No, because basically welfare's always needed a source of coins. I do think that a potential coin fix will come once they're done with the evocation festival, and they may say additional leaves may now be used to purchase coins. Because leaves can only be gotten from campaigns that give them out, and logins, and event shops. That's it. Those are the only sources. So they're absolutely gated. So I think that'd be perfectly fine. I think that'd be an absolutely fantastic solution to the coin issue, if they allowed it to be purchased from there. So basically you're making CE bombs each month. Yes. Yes, I have a ton of CE bombs on my JP account. I'm getting to the point my JP account is soon going to have more CE bombs than my NA account. And that's purely due to laziness on my NA account. And you still have so much hope. We all know they'll never make a coin fix. I know. That's partially why I like rant on it some. That's partially why I get angry about it, is because like I know they can do better. It's what's stopping them is what I don't know, and I can never figure it out. It's either malevolence and greed, or it's you know, malfeasance and mismanagement. Neither is good, if you want to think about it that way. Could you tell me when the first event that requires LB6 completion is? Well, technically Tunguska coming up here will require it, but the first actual event, because Tunguska is more of like a story chapter. I think they just had it like the past year on JP, didn't they? Yeah, it was Fairy Cup. They'd fix bond Cs before coins. Chat, let me ask you this. With your current feelings on the devs' capabilities and implementations of things so far, do you think you will be pleased with whatever change they implement for bond Cs? I'm legitimately curious. Anything is better than the current system? Yeah, you're not wrong in that regard. But I guess what I'm trying to say is what the devs actually implement and whatever you have in your brain for what you think they will implement or what you want them to implement, do you think it's going to be the same? Or do you think there's going to be a disconnect there? I know a gaming community would never be happy. Yeah. I don't know. I think there's definitely some gaming communities that are more happy. Would it be a disconnect? Yeah. I kind of feel like there'll be some disconnect. That's why I asked the question. And the reason why is because I assume, you know, players want like, and this is the idea I hear all the time, is like players want bond Cs to turn into like a passive or something like that. What I think will actually end up happening is probably more to the effect of like, they'll make some sort of change to bond Cs that makes them marginally more useful. It'll be good, quote unquote, but it won't be what the player base wanted. And that's usually because the devs have their own goals that the players themselves can't comprehend. Or at least not without thinking like a dev. Is there something that happens when Tunguska releases? I don't remember. I don't remember if there's like anything special at the launch of Tunguska. I can tell you the structure of it is largely like story during the day, raid at night. Wait, sorry, it was Don't Worry asking a question. Servant coins will now be used to level up Bonsi. Oh my god, can you imagine? Can you imagine? So I've talked about this theory before that like it's entirely possible and in fact probably likely that somewhere in the future, whether near or distant, that you guys will eventually see a 4th and a 5th pen. And the reason for this is because if you actually go look at the UI, it's actually set up for it. But I've talked about this. I'm like, there is to me no way in hell they can implement any sort of additional append until the coins are fixed, because the coins are such a hot button issue in the community that the second they go to do it, they're gonna have riots. So like I cannot in that same vein see them ever giving additional costs for coins, like additional uses. And the reason why this would absolutely upset people is like, you guys know I'm someone that's of the opinion that you should not roll more than Bond 5 for more coins. I think doing so, one, usually has no real value. It's just EP'ing and bragging rights. And two, you're actually rewarding the devs for making such a scummy system in that regard. So usually I tell people like, don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not a good idea. It's just wasting your money. So now imagine you're someone who did listen to that advice. Imagine you're someone that rolled NP6. You rolled, what is it, like NP10 or whatever of a 4-star. And then imagine you did all that and you're like, man, I'm done, thank God, right? Like I got everything. I have a perfected unit. And then they implement something new, a 4th append, or the ability to like level up your Bond C. You're not going to be happy. Now that means you have to go roll more. So like I said, I think that's the problem they're going to have if they ever try to do anything without fixing the coin system. They're naturally going to have everybody at their throat. Oh, did I say Bond 5? Yeah, I'm sorry, I meant NP. I do this all the time. I absolutely know what I'm talking about in my head, and I just like 100% just like switch the word that I was using. Yeah, I mean, the 3rd append is normally the useless one. Normally, right? Like, there's definitely exceptions to that. We were pointing out one yesterday. Like, obviously, Berserker 3rd appends are pretty good, but like, sorry, anti-Berserker 3rd appends. Not like, hey, I'm a Berserker with a 3rd append. Those are trash. But like, there's definitely some good synergistic ones, like the one I was pointing out yesterday, where you have like MHX. Her 3rd append is anti-Saber, which she does more damage to. So that actually is a synergistic one. We occasionally get those. Speaking of which, chat, let me real quick jump in here and just try to see kind of where we left off yesterday. Because I actually do need to see how much of this I can get spent down. Pebcac then? I mean, it's not even Pebcac. It's like brain fart. Why do I need to update my database? I don't know what it's doing. It's like screaming at me to do that stupid cache update, chat. Anyone ever seen this before? Like, I go to do the update and it's like, no. And if I click done, it's like, hey, it's not done downloading. And I don't know why it won't go away. Interesting. Kind of waiting to see because I know Avalon uses a lot more than me if he's encountered it. But he may be sleeping. I only have it as an app, doesn't do it for me. I don't want to hit clear cache. I do not want to hit clear cache. And reinstall? I should not have to reinstall this shit. What's the next Lotto on an A? It is Tesla Fest in March. I did my 500 boxes. We ended yesterday with that. Yeah, well, I'm figuring this out. Let's head back into the node. I can at least do that. I don't want to bore you guys staring at an empty screen. Because I at least need to be, like, multitasking and doing shit. Yeah, the problem is when I go into, like, my user data shit, it doesn't show anything. Got Baldur's Gate 3? Nice. How you liking it? Zug, it's because I don't need QP. I'm actually trying to find ways of getting rid of my QP. Dude, why is there another update? Like a forced update is what I want to know. Well, chat, I only have like a little bit over 100 more of these to run. Cost 5 per, I have 500. Yeah, your backup's stored under user data backup, right? Like, I'm not crazy. Turn off auto game data update? Yeah. What's a rapple? A rainbow apple, aka a quartz. Leave auto update on it, it leaves me with no problems. Yeah, except for this. Okay, that updated. Okay, that's a good sign. It looks like it's got my shit in here, chat. Either that or it's got someone else's shit. We left off on assassin, so let's see if that's actually completed. Yeah, can anyone think of an assassin that I upgraded last night? Does anyone remember? Because that'd be the easy way to tell. MHX? I don't think I did MHX. Shooting. I did do shooting. Thank you. I specifically remember shooting because I remember talking to you guys about her. Yes. And she is set in here as done. So this does include the backup from when I closed. I just had to make sure that it like included all the shit I did yesterday, which wouldn't be the end of the world. I already know where I left off. I just have to go back and like recheck to make sure my changes were accurate. But I wouldn't bore you guys doing that on stream. So then next up will be Bear Zerkar. Do you think 60 Saint Courts would be enough for Melson? No. Like just being truthful. I don't want to like blow smoke up your ass, right? Like 60 Saint Courts will probably not be enough. You could get lucky, but it probably will not be enough. Usually people will tell you to get at least like 300 to have a decent chance. And even that's still like, at that point you're kind of like 50-50. You could or you couldn't. 340 is average? No, it's lower than 340 now. What about 90 Saint Courts from Ellison? Still no. What about one paid Saint Courts in a dream? Maybe. Okay, so we don't have the cream of the hills. We're going into the appends here. Because I'm trying to spin down my QP. This is what I was talking to you guys about, is sort of this requirement, this need. I have 360 coins for her. What bond are you at? You are currently at bond 6. At 360, in order to be able to 120 you plus another append, I would need to get you 60 more coins. I am currently at bond 6. Getting 60 more coins would take how much, chat? I think it's 30 for 1 through 6, right, chat? And then 7 through 9 is another 30. And then 10 through 15 is 120. Because it's 20 per, and that's 6. So I would need to get, I'd get 30 here. I would need to get basically I'd have to complete bond 11. So I'd have to get to bond 12 functionally for that. I'm not going to say I couldn't do that. That'd just take me a while. I probably will not splurge on that one yet. Not until I start using Morgan more heavily, which I will in the future, but as it stands right now, I really don't have to. Musashi's third append. Oh, right. No, this is Berserker, so third appends are almost just a non-starter here. That is one I can do, though. I did get spooked by Horsecock. How's this gonna work for you? We can at least take you to 4. It feels weird having OGR Trey as my side grailing project until I get Morgan up to 160k more bond. I see. Oh, that's easy. I'll do that. Hold on. How rare I need 418?
Why is that this close?
I forgot though, this is a really rare one. You don't often need that much, and they started increasing how many units use it in the future, but they don't give it out very often. So I probably shouldn't do anything more than that. Okay, so Morgan's kind of stuck. I have not gotten Galatea to spook me, nor did I roll for her, so she's kind of out of SOL. I mean, I could unlock this, and I just will. It's not gonna matter. I'm not gonna use Summer Bryn's coins on anything else unless they did implement another source, and I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. I'm gonna bank on the fact that they just would not do that to us without imploding their own game. Ever is Claw of Chaos compared to Phoenix Feather? Phoenix Feather had a lotto, but if you missed out on that lotto, not a lot you can do. Dino Waifu. Dino. Where is Dino Waifu? Right there. Lanugo's not worth it. I'm not exactly going to run out of Lanugos anytime soon, but I don't have a veritable horde of them. Musashi Berserker, I don't think I can really touch. I could, but to me, she's a valuable enough unit, I'm not going to use those coins. I never know what I may do into the future. Mori, I don't think I have enough coins for Mori. Yeah. Not yet, at least. He'll show up on a bunch more banners that I'll probably roll. Arjuna Altar is stuck. Jerker is stuck. Bunyan. We didn't get Bunyan coins, right? Yeah, no, we're stuck. 10th. Penta is a perma unit. Just gonna go ahead and use the coins. I guess the ice mining. I think we already did some crazy amount of runs on stream. Because I got down from basically like 900 to like 500 of the stuff remaining. I find it funny that hers is anti-rider crit resist. Nope, we're gonna stop you there. I was dreaming you. Gotcha. Can't do nothing for. Nope. Interesting. Where is my waifu? I already took this skill to 9. Damn it. Yeah. I ain't spending those coins. That one's not happening. Not yet. Ibaraki. Have the coins, may as well do it. Like with permanent units that are like low stars, well not low stars, but like 4 stars, and they spook me a lot, you're gonna see me just kind of do this. For NP refunding and farming, is Seatonai better than Melisson? You talking about like single target arts? I mean, you've got an alter ego versus a lancer. That's pretty weird. I'm gonna say like for actual NP refund, no, Melisson wins. Melisson has crazy kind of stacking NP gain, but damage, yeah, Seatonai probably wins that just dependent. But that's only the single target forms, because that's the only one you really can compare. Oh wait, hold on, that's a free upgrade. Bones? I don't even know what the bone zone is, chat. Vlad, what the actual fuck? You monster. Mama Raiko, I'm gonna change her assessment to 10. You're going to, because she'll become a 30% charger, you're gonna want to lure this. So let's see how far we can take this for now. This is actually a good one. I get to upward advise or re-advise my stuff here. Yeah, I'll go ahead and use the Magatamas. You can see how many Magatamas I kind of have now. That's a spicy meatball. But I'll go ahead and do it. I'm not going to lure it yet. I don't need to lure it. I will sit there and wait until she gets the upgrade and then lure it. Coup alter. Why? Why? I swear they just threw bells in for everyone's like 9th rank append. Wait, Beowulf's 3rd skill. Hold on. What the heck is this? Wait, where the heck is my Beowulf and why am I blind? There he is. Okay, I already took this to 9. Oh, right, yeah, he got the modifiers. Okay, so this was just a goof on the part of my Chaldea app. I hadn't updated it. I've sadly had a bunch of those where like I haven't been able to do some upgrades because I had already done them. Beowulf actually has the coins. We'll go ahead and unlock it. Are you winning, son? Yes. Thanks, Twitch, for not banning CAD for that record, right? You know, the thing I'm always curious of is are they ever going to change stances and start saying that gacha games are gambling? I'm always curious, and so I always check to see if we're accidentally, like, actually been labeled or something. Fran. I don't want to do it on Fran. Tomacat. Don't really want to. Okay, Kentucky. The main man's middle append. That's a yuck, and we're gonna do it. That's also a yuck. There we go. I will use the lore. Kentucky, there's been a couple situations where I could have used him, but I didn't have his append lord. And I said, like, well, oh well. Golden, yes. Perk. Swear to God, Herc. What? The spherical veins, huh? No, I better not. I'm only at like half of my requirement for that, Matt. Okay, now we go on to our first of the extra classes, Rura. Ooh, Da Vinci, Da Vinci, Da Vinci, Da Vinci, Da Vinci, Da Vinci. Come here, welfare that I did not invest in. Where are you? Hello, sevens. Fuck. Let me double check to make sure treasure tracker actually scales. It does. Should have farmed the 90 node for eggs. No, I'm actually good on eggs. This is all within my calculations, and I only needed 7 more eggs. So we're actually solid for eggs. Hey, Mr. Gurus, thank you for the raid. Welcome, everybody. How's it going? I don't... I'm going to take that one to 8. I'm not taking that one all the way to 9. But how's it going, everybody? How was your stream, bud? What are you guys up to? I assume farming Lotto here. I am trying to spend my QP down so I can finish opening the remainder of my box. It's not good. If you guys haven't ever gone and checked out my man, Mr. Chaldea Gurus, go do so. He's a fantastic content creator, very comfy. Any boxes, everyone out? I know a lot of chat has gone easier on this lotto. I didn't. I did my usual 500 boxes. And I knew I didn't have a lot of time, so I set out of the gate to like just do it really fast. Okay, what is... Ooh, yes. Yes, that's borderline free. Give that to me. That's a mad lad. I agree. I am insane in the membrane. I'm doing all right. I'm strung out. I had a work deadline tomorrow, and I finally got my stuff done for that, so I can relax at least on that front. Got a ton of stuff I still got to do before Christmas. I'm sure you know how that feels. And then, you know, obviously Lotto. But I'm hanging in there otherwise. Guy, could you please turn down the game audio? It's clashing with the music. No. Remember, the people on the YouTube don't have any music other than the game music. It's usually just because the music itself is not very loud, and it's also because it's all my song requests. want. I can at least turn the music up on this side of things. Snooze button, thank you for the 7 months. Got an 8 units to bond 6 this lotto, nice. Yeah, I did quite a bit of bonding in this lotto. I got to use a lot of units I didn't normally use. And part of that's because the Christmas structure means those early nodes are rather easy. And so I got to like just kind of get away with things that shouldn't have otherwise worked. Oh wait, hold on. I was going back to the appends here. I need to go check Karen's append, which is apparently at 7. That requires fruit. $42 and counting. Nice, you're gonna make it earn. Why? Why is it eggs? Interestingly enough, only Taigong Wang coming up here really uses it. We got a Feistion that's gonna use some. Better not. Better not. Yeah, oh god, and then Bazette. Yeah, I'll hold off on eggs. And then we got Emiko's append. Where is the pits? No, I think we're good. I don't need Himiko's append that bad. Estrella's. It's the yarn. And, oh god. Alright, how much of the yarn did I need? Oh wow, there's like no one upcoming who needs yarn. It's all appends. So don't mind if I do. At least, chat, also keep in mind, when I say stuff like this, I'm talking for my plans. I don't plan to roll every unit in the game, so it's entirely possible that there's someone that's not in my plans that uses yarn. So when I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh sweet, I'm safe. You guys might not be, so just keep that in mind. Do not assume that I am speaking for like everyone. I want an Estrella, understandable. QSH. QSH normally the top up here. That's not happening. Sherlock. He's done, but I didn't have him marked off as done. Artha. What was the fruit? What was the fruit of the loom? Oh, we're good. I am overkill on fruit. So I guess that means anything that has fruit is a free upgrade. And then ice. I probably have a metric ton of ice at this point, so I'll go ahead and do this just to get to the second one. Because the fact that I'm farming more ice means I'm actually getting further ahead on my ice. The Fruit of Evolution, yes. Did anyone watch the second season of that? Because I didn't. I like started, I think I watched the first episode and then I was just immediately like, eh. I didn't really give it its due diligence. Amakusa. Kusa already took your ass to 7. It sucked you didn't miss much. It's sad to hear it. I kind of liked the first season, but yeah. And then Janu. Rulers are one of the harder ones. They're one of the original extra classes, and there's just a ton. Seeds. Avengers! Ho! Okay, so Avengers is going to be another one that's going to take me a while, but then after this one, the extra classes should get done really fast. Ronmaru. I can actually just skill up Ronmaru, probably. Why? Why are you the way that you are, Ronmaru? That third skill is Ronmaru's. It's Ronmaru's charge and refund. I'll go ahead and do it. Probably shouldn't, but I will. How much do I actually want this? This is the charm chance. Yeah, okay. Charge scales. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I had to make sure. I am not, however, going to touch Ronmaru's first skill, because I don't think... Like, it's not bad, I just don't think it's as worth the mat investment at the moment. We should have gotten coins for Ronmaru, though. But that append is probably going to be nasty, because Avengers just do be sucking like that. Was got halfway through because it seemed like it might essentially fix season 1, but then it wasn't even it went even worse. Oh god, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I found it really funny, but the fact that, like, all of the women are just animals, like, low-key felt like the author just had a furry fetish the whole time. The manga just gets worse. Oh, it's disappointing. That is also disappointing. Probably won't spend the bicorn horn on each of these. So I will take them each to 3. Okay, we got that. And then... Ronmaru is actually one of the last ones I think I have to work on. You could maybe do Taiga, or not Taiga. Ira. You know, this one may have been a good one to do the extra attack instead, but I'm okay. Just gonna help Tyra get to that first NP faster. Devin it is. Space Ishtar's probably still stuck, but I can check. No, that actually progresses. I'll do it. And I will lure it. There, chat. Are you happy? Are you happy, chat? Are you happy? You can't get on to me. Meh. Love me, chat. Let's see. So Jalter, I haven't updated this in a while, but I actually did lure her first skill there. What's the... or sorry, her second skill. What's the first one? So I can do that, but then I'm dead. Because I can't do this next one. Like, I could. I could do it, chat. It's probably not a good idea if I do. Not at the current moment. Oh, that's never happening. Okay, so that's Avenger done. Alter Ego. Doman. Doman's gonna be the big focus for Alter Ego just in general at the moment. You can actually use them in this final node here. Oh, shit. Second skill is the crit. You also get the scaling defense down on the first one. Guess this really just depends on what I'm using Doman for. Crane Sky of Dark uses 25 of these suckers. And I still got a lot of saber faces that need this. Well, up him to 8. And that all he getting. Whoa, have I not done Okitan's append? Okay, I did. Oh man, past CAD's always so smart. So much smarter than current CAD. Kiara, why are you stuck at 7? Oh, that's not that bad. And it's now stuck at 8. Melt. Melty blood. I'll do that. I'm not gonna lure it, but I'll do that. Because I know she gets the 30% charge later, chat. Okay. Moon Cancer. Kiara. My lord, her middle one. Oh man, chat, I got Janako in here. I guess I should skill her up. She's still at rank 1 skills. Prepares for Janako slander. Yeah, it's fine. I just, chat knows I have a bone to pick with Janako, so I don't, I have her in my plans, but I have not managed to be graced with her presence yet on it. And then BB we don't have coins for, so Moon Cancer was a relative dud. Foreigner! Oh, I see what's going on. Yeah, it's straight up the additional coins for that I refuse to use. So focus I did Abby. It's OG Abby, isn't it? Wait, is this summer? No, this is OG, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, this is OG. I'm not going crazy. Entirely odd. I had already leveled the skill to 7. Whack. And that's where it will sit. She's eventually a 30% charger as well. Actually, do we already have that upgrade on NA chat? Not on NA? Okay. I was gonna say, I didn't think we did, but didn't want to stick my foot completely in my mouth. Alright, Voyager. What's your skill? Why? Why do you do this to me, Voyager? Wait, did we get mix of coins? We got mix of coins, didn't we? Let's mix the skills. We didn't get mix of coins, okay. So even though I've plotted her out, I can't do anything about it. Pretender. There is only one at the moment. And I don't have enough coins for the Sussy Baka's other stuff. Mash? I could absolutely do Mash as append. Cat, which append should I do for Mash? The third? The third is actually just anti-extra class. It's actually one of the most broken ones in the game in that regard. The problem is, do you want her mana loading more? Do you want her extra attack more? I don't know. This is the issue I have with Mash. All of her appends are actually good, and you don't have enough coins. Like, you only have enough for one of them. So, I have taken the stance of, I am not unlocking any of her appends. Not until we get more. Because I don't want to, like, screw myself suddenly when, like, she gets an upgrade somewhere down the line. And it's like, oh man, if you just had the mana loading, you would have been set. It's like, oh no. Or like, hey, did you buy her third append? Yeah, it's really good now that she has, like, an offensive NP that deals damage or something. Like, you never know what they're going to do with Mash. So until they give us more coins, I am just sitting right there doing that. Interesting. Did I not touch Da Vinci's pens? I did not. I don't know why I didn't. This is a ruler. This is free and easy. And of course, it's 11 o'clock. So that means that it's going to kick me out, so I can't actually unlock this. Her next update is another gameplay change. I know. It's just like, that's why I play it safe with Mash. Oh boy, chat, 3 million QP. No! Oh, the game is torturing me. Yo, dog, I see you trying to get rid of QP. What if we gave you more QP? And chat, like, I want to be clear. It's not like I'm in reverse QP hell or anything that you've heard about. That stuff no longer applies. There is no such thing as reverse QP hell. It's just, at least not anymore. It's just me trying to be efficient with my QP and spend it on stuff that I originally planned to spend it on, rather than like have it just cap out and go to waste, right? So it's like I'd rather use it than lose it. Cat internally screaming, yeah. I mean, this is actually a pretty good QP waste here. So you guys saw, I think it was at like, what, 1.5 bill? And we're now down to a little bit less than 1.2. So this actually helped out quite a bit. I should be able to open the rest of my boxes now. Good. Good. Ah! I did not mean to hit that. I am very glad I did not hit the next one. At least it was just ice. If I'm gonna waste any material, the one that I'm currently farming is the best. They really do need a quality of life that just lets us, like, set it and go. Too bad that got copyrighted. What, me screaming? You don't have to collect it yet. I don't, but it comes at the expense of would I rather waste 3 million QP or get 10 more embers? The answer is I would rather have 10 more embers. Because QP is like nigh infinite on this account. As you guys can tell, right? Like, chat, I can literally just take all my remaining shit. Like, all 549 of those bottles. And if I needed QP, I could just come in here, go to event items, and be like, hey, yo, dog, let me get 500,000 QP for each one of these. And that would stack up really fast. See, Scotty knows. That's why she's so smug. Anyways, chat, that's going to be it for me tonight. We're going to end it here. I didn't get to do the Tunguska stuff. That's just because I'm trying to wrap this up in as efficient a way as I possibly can. But it be how it be. Let me send you guys over to Mr. Ludes. He's on, I'm sure, doing his last minute grind again. So again, chat, you guys have until the end of the day tomorrow to finish the lotto. So you have, this is like your 24-hour warning from like right now. You have 24 hours remaining. So this is dawn of the final day. The moon is crashing and it looks very evil and ominous. You have to complete your farm. You don't have to roll out your boxes though. You have the 7 days after to do that. Just keep that in mind. So again, hope you guys had a good one. I will see you guys tomorrow for the next one. Again, hopefully we get to go over some Tunguska stuff. In the meantime, go give Ludes my love. We'll see you guys later. Good luck.